Chapter 1102. I like hearing that. Yi Hua was very inflated. I'm a man, after all men want to conquer a woman. Of course. I hope that the woman will say that I am formidable. Could it be that I want the woman to say that I am incapable and that it will be over in just a few minutes? Just a moment ago, Qian Yuqing was shocked, and right now she became pitiful again. Ye Hua, I promise that I will be obedient in the future, but you can't bully me like this. Qingya and Baiji will laugh at me. Yuqing, they are all experienced people, and they have been tortured by me quite a lot in the past. Furthermore, you are a newlywed. Yi Hua sniff, sniff, sniff. I will be obedient, okay? Qian Yuqing would start acting coquettishly the moment she got into a disagreement, and on this point, she was a bit similar to Qing Yutong. When he thought of his sister-in-law, he didn't know what she was doing. She had been out for a while. I don't know if those women have helped me draw the hatred. If there isn't, hee. You women, don't come back. Aren't you going to wake up? Yi Hua asked curiously. Qian Yuqing pouted. Look at me. Can I still stand up? Sigh, I'll get used to it. Qian Yuqing pouted her cherry lips and hammered Yi Hua unhappily. However, Yi Hua turned his head around. Keep a straight face. Qian Yuqing was startled. She lowered her head and said embarrassedly, I'm sorry. She felt wronged in her heart. I just lightly hammered you. Don't be like this. However, right after she finished thinking, she felt a kiss on her forehead, and soon after, she saw Yi Hua, who was smiling mischievously. I'm just teasing you, idiot. Yi Hua said faintly. On the bed, clothes. Qian Yuqing really wanted to use her small fists to hammer Yi Hua until he fainted. Not only is this scoundrel bullying people, he is also scaring people. Much worse than before. However, he was more understanding than before. Yi Hua directly went to his mother's bedroom. After all, it had been a few days since he last went to his mother's bedroom. Within Lu Jing's bedroom, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were accompanying Lu Jing by her side. Daji had also come out. Seeing that her master had arrived, Daji called out respectfully, Master! Yi Hua waved his hand and said lightly, Mother! Seeing that his mother didn't seem to be acting strangely, Yi Hua felt a bit more at ease. Yi Hua, you must know how to control yourself, your body is important. Lu Jing chuckled. Of course, she knew that her son had been spoiling Yuqing these days. This was a good thing. If Yuqing could get pregnant soon, she might be able to have a look. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Mother, my body is very good. What are you two doing? Mother, are you knitting a sweater for your little grandson? Qingya and Baiji are still the ones who are so skilled. Mother had to learn for a few days before she could do it. Lu Jing said with a smile while knitting a sweater. Yi Hua let out a puzzled sound. Little grandson? Yeah. Yuqing will definitely have a baby. And your younger brother, Gongyu, will have a baby too, Lu Jing said with a loving smile. Yi Hua asked gravely, Xiao Tian and Gongyu slept together? Qingya nodded her head. At the start, she also found it hard to believe. Ye Hua, I heard from the palace maid that the two of them have indeed slept together, and these few days, the two of them can be said to be inseparable. Xiao Tian seems to be taking care of Gongyu a lot, bringing Gongyu around the palace, and sometimes, he would even go out of the palace to play. There is such a thing? Yi Hua found it hard to believe. This little brother of mine has changed too quickly, right? However, this was also good. If he could see Yi's true colors earlier, he wouldn't be too sad in the future. Donghuang Baiji said with a smile. That's right, when do you plan to let them get married? Ye Hua, I think that we should make preparations for this matter in advance. What do you think? Lu Jing asked lightly, handing the decision over to Yi Hua. Yi Hua also felt that this matter should be settled. I don't want to wait until I become pregnant before getting married. All right, I will call the two of them over and ask them about the situation. Yi Hua said faintly. After all, it was still better to let Yi Juetian make the decision himself. That's good too. Let's ask the two of them for their opinion. These few days, the two of them have really been sticking to each other like glue. Lu Jing said with a smile. Right now, the two of them were really happy and harmonious. Yi Hua immediately sent a voice transmission to Yi Juetian, telling him to bring Gongyu to his mother's bedroom. Yi Juetian and Gongyu were currently in the backyard, and when they heard that their big brother came, they immediately prepared to head over. In actuality, Yi Juetian didn't want to accompany Gongyu, but he felt guilty in his heart, and thus, he could only use this method to atone for his crime. However, the news that Prince Yi and Gong Yu had a very good relationship, and right now, the only thing lacking was a wedding ceremony. Using their fastest speed, Yi Juetian and Gong Yu rushed over to Lu Jing's bedroom. Mother, big brother, sister-in-law. Yi Juetian greeted respectfully. Gong Yu, who was at the side, could now greet them like this, and she obediently said, Mother, big brother, sister-in-law. After greeting them, Gong Yu still carried a bit of shyness. Lu Jing was very happy. Right now, the two of them are inseparable. This is truly great. Look at Gong Yu, how obedient, standing slightly behind little Tian. Although it wasn't a lot, it was enough to express her attitude. This was what Lu Jing liked about Gong Yu. Just like Qin Yao and the others, Gong Yu would always stand behind Yi Hua, and not in front of Yi Hua. This was a basic common sense for women. One definitely cannot stand in front of one's husband. That would be a very rude display. At the very least, this was what Lu Jing thought in her heart. Big brother, what did you call us over for? Yi Juetian asked. Yi Hua asked faintly, I heard that you two have already slept together? As people who had experienced it, Qin Ya and Dong Huang Baiji's faces didn't turn red, and their hearts didn't jump. However, Gong Yu was different. Big brother actually directly asked about it. So shy. Just by looking at Gong Yu's expression, everyone knew that such a thing happened. Lu Jing was very gratified. Little Tian, in the future, after you become a husband, you have to be responsible. Don't be as hot-tempered as you were in the past. What else could Yi Juetian say? Sleeping together is a fact, everyone in the palace knows about it, and I even feel that Yi also knows about it. This is also the reason why Yi is so cold towards me. Mother, I understand. Yi Juetian said helplessly. Right now, Yi is still locked up by Big Brother, so I have to calm down and not act recklessly. Yi Hua asked towards Gong Yu. You two have been together for a period of time now. How do you feel about little Tian? Gong Yu said shyly, Big brother, Ju Tian treats me very well, very considerate, and also takes good care of me. I like him a lot. After finished speaking, Gong Yu lowered her head and looked at her toes. This caused Lu Jing to be happy. Qin Ya and Dong Huang Baiji seemed to have seen themselves in the past. Right now, they were already an old couple, and there was no longer that kind of shyness anymore. Other than when Yi Hua was saying sweet nothings to you, you would get goosebumps all over your body. That's good then. Little Tian, what do you think about Gong Yu? Yi Hua asked again. Yi Juetian said lightly, Big brother, Gong Yu is a good girl, she is virtuous and virtuous, she is very good. Since she is very good, Big brother wants to ask you, are you willing to marry Gong Yu? Yi Hua asked faintly. Yi Juetian became silent, he didn't straightforwardly tell Gong Yu his decision, causing Gong Yu to feel a bit sad. End of chapter. Chapter 1103. After all, Yi Juetian had hesitated. If he had said it without hesitation, he would have been extremely happy. Big brother, can I have a word with you? Yi Juetian looked at Yi Hua and said with a pleading gaze. Yi Hua nodded his head. All right. After the two brothers walked out of the door, Yi Hua waved his hand, and all of the palace maids left. If you have anything to say, just say it. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. Yi Juetian looked at his big brother smoking and said, Big brother, can you give me one as well? Yi Hua took a look at Yi Juetian, then passed one over to him. Yi Juetian took a deep breath and immediately choked. A child even smokes. Yi Hua puffed out a mouthful of smoke and said faintly. Yi Juetian sighed in his heart. Was he just a child in his big brother's eyes? The two brothers just stood outside and smoked. Throwing the cigarette butt on the ground, Yi Juetian extinguished it and said in a solemn voice, Big brother, I can marry Gong Yu. What condition? Yi Hua asked faintly. Although I haven't interacted with this blood-related little brother of mine for a long time, since this little brother of mine wants to talk to me alone, this little brother of mine definitely has a purpose. Can you release Yi? Yi Juetian pleaded. This might be his only chance, the only chance to save Yi. He couldn't let Yi be locked up in the imperial prison forever. Yi Hua knew that this was the condition. What, are you still unwilling to give up? Yi Hua asked faintly. Of course, Yi Juetian wouldn't give up, but he couldn't say it now. Big brother, I only have one request. Let her leave the palace. Regardless of whether she is a spy or not, she won't be able to harm us. Yi Juetian said solemnly. Little Tian, she caused mother's lifespan to be shortened for so long. Do you think that big brother would be able to let her out of the palace so easily? Yi Hua said coldly, and a cold intent shot out from his pair of eyes. Yi Juetian didn't even know how to beg anymore. He could only brace himself and say, Big brother, I'm begging you, okay? Just let little brother do it this time. I promise to listen to you in the future. After hearing that, Yi Hua did not say anything, and once again, he took out a stick of cigarette and started smoking. After a long time he said indifferently, Fine. Big brother can promise you. Really? Yi Juetian was elated. His big brother actually agreed. However, I will not let Yi out of the palace. Yi Hua said coldly. Why? Yi Juetian didn't understand. What was the difference? Yi Hua said gravely. This Yi was sent by Huang Feidi. If I were to release her just like that, what difference would there be between me and admitting defeat? I want to see what else this Yi can do. Hearing his big brother's words, Yi Juetian's heart turned cold. His big brother was fighting against Huang Feidi, and Yi was just a chess piece in the middle. What do you think? If you agree, big brother can arrange it now. Yi is definitely not going to be released. It is already a kind of benevolence of the universe that I, the Supreme Overlord, am not going to kill her, and Yi is still thinking of releasing the palace. That was absolutely impossible. He had missed her for the rest of his life. Unless he was dead. Yi Juetian sank into deep thought. Although he couldn't leave the palace, it was still better than bringing him to the imperial prison. Anyway, her big brother would let her get married in the future, so why not fight for a chance? After all, it was also a crime for Yi to be locked up in the celestial prison. Was Yi supposed to stay in the celestial prison for the rest of her life? All right, big brother, I promise you. Yi Juetian said gravely. Yi Hua nodded his head, then asked, Do you hate big brother? Little Tian, I know that everything big brother does is for my own good. Yi Juetian didn't lie. He still understood this bit of logic. Yi Hua was very gratified as he patted onto Yi Juetian's shoulder. Little Tian, in the future, live well with Gong Yu. If you want a woman, big brother can help you find one, but you have to keep your eyes open. Don't be tempted by beauty. Your enemies are all cunning. And, big brother, I understand. Yi Juetian nodded his head. Now that things have come to this, I can only do this. All right, let's go in. Yi Hua said lightly, then walked into the house. Lu Jing looked at the two brothers walking into the house, then asked with a smile, What secret are you two talking about that you can't let us know? Gong Yu lightly bit onto her lips and clenched her fists, appearing to be very nervous. Although I don't know what they are talking about, I feel that it is definitely related to marriage. Mother. Yi Juetian shouted out respectfully. And, Mother, I want to get married to Gong Yu. Yi Juetian said. After hearing that, Gong Yu went into a daze and looked at Yi Juetian dumbfoundedly. Lu Jing also became absent-minded. Little Tian has grown up and is starting to become sensible. Meanwhile, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji felt that the two brothers definitely came to some sort of agreement just now outside. If not, Yi Juetian wouldn't have agreed to it so straightforwardly. As for what he agreed to do, it should most likely be related to Yi. Good, this is a good thing. Yi Hua, little Tian's wedding will be handed over to you. Lu Jing was very happy. To be able to see her youngest son getting married while she was still alive was also a kind of satisfaction. Yi Hua said lightly, Mother, don't worry, I will definitely hold a grand wedding. Right now, Gong Yu was very excited. No matter what sort of agreement Yi Juetian and Big Brother came to, I will finally be able to officially enter Yi family. Yi Juetian said respectfully, I have troubled mother, big brother, and sister-in-law with regards to my matters. Lu Jing laughed lightly. Little Tian, there is no need to be so courteous since we are family. Seriously, I have to make some arrangements as well. What kind of things do I have to prepare? Seeing that his mother was so happy, Yi Hua felt very happy in his heart. However, the matter that he promised his little brother, Yi Hua would definitely do it. Yi will be released, but she will definitely not take care of mother. After all, I only have one last bottle of medicine left, and I cannot let Yi use it again. If that happens, Mother will really die. With Dodgy watching over, I am also very at ease. As for Yi's arrangements, I will just let her go to the woodshed. She won't be able to cause any big trouble. After coming to this decision, Yi Hua went to make the arrangements. Within the imperial prison. During these few days, Yi had become a lot skinnier, and it seemed like she was showing signs of depression. Yi had been waiting for Yi Juetian to come clean with her every single day, but every single time, Yi would be disappointed. Yi Juetian didn't plan to tell her anything at all. Time to eat. Just as Yi was in a daze, a palace maid came over with the food. Looking at the food, it seemed like it was leftovers. In fact, it even had a bit of a strange smell. It was rancid. There was no helping it, Yi was just that enviable. Thank you. Yi was still very polite. No matter how other people treated her, Yi would always maintain her original intentions and not fight with others. The palace maid snorted coldly. Why didn't you get beaten to death by Prince Yi? It is truly a miracle that you are still alive. Yi took out the food from underneath the table. However, when the palace maid saw that Yi was ignoring her, she became furious. The palace maid kicked the food over, and the food even landed on Yi's hand. That hand of Yi's fiercely smashed onto the metal pole. Yi was in so much pain that cold sweat began flowing out of her body. End of this chapter. Chapter 1104. Look at you. You should be killed. Living is just a waste of food. The palace maid snorted coldly and left without even turning her head back. Yi held onto her hand and didn't say anything. Looking at the food that was scattered on the floor, Yi endured the pain and placed the food into her bowl. Tears of helplessness flowed out from the corner of her eyes. At this moment, the sound of armor rubbing against each other could be heard, causing Yi to raise her head to take a look. Two black armored warriors walked over, and behind them was a female official. Yi wiped her hands and hurriedly stood up. Not knowing what was going to happen, she felt afraid. However, the bad thing that Yi imagined didn't happen. The black armored warriors directly opened the cage. Yi was very confused. What are they doing? At this moment, the female official walked over and said softly, "Follow me." Me? Can I go out now? Yi slightly frowned and asked, a little disbelieving. The female official nodded her head. Yes, you can come out now. The corner of Yi's mouth gradually curved up. I can really go out now. Could it be that Ye did it outside? It must be Ye, if not, I wouldn't be able to go out so quickly. But Ye, why didn't you tell me the truth? There shouldn't be any secrets between us. Hurry up. Seeing that Yi was still in a daze, the female official couldn't help but shout out. Oh, I'm coming out now. Yi walked out of the heavenly prison, looked up at the sky, and breathed in the familiar air, as if she had been reborn. Female official, where are we going? Yi asked softly. The female official said gravely, you are going to work in the woodshed. Woodshed? Yi muttered. After doing such a thing, it was definitely possible for her to serve the Empress Dowager. Towards such an arrangement, Yi didn't object, and even felt that it should be done. The woodshed was further away and more secluded, but in any case, it was still inside the imperial palace, which was definitely better than the heavenly prison. In the imperial palace, there was no such thing as eunuchs, all of them were palace maids. After all, Yihua wasn't interested in looking at men and transvestites. The palace maids that were sent to the woodshed looked pretty, but those that used palace maids to chop firewood were reckoned to be from Wuxia Empire. In the future, you will work here, don't run around. Otherwise, I will not let you off lightly. The female official said coldly. This jinx almost caused her to lose her job. He could not understand how such a person could walk out of the imperial prison alive. If it were him, he would have surely killed him. Yes, I understand, Yi said respectfully. The assistant snorted coldly, turned around, and left. Yi heaved a sigh of relief and turned to look at the woodshed, only to see 2 or 3 palace maids working. Of course it was to chop firewood. Hello everyone, my name is Yi. Yi walked in front of them and greeted politely. However, the palace maid only glanced at Yi and continued with her work. Yi lowered her head in silence. She mimicked the others and prepared to chop firewood. But when Yi picked up the axe, she realized that the axe was really heavy. She couldn't swing it at all. Actually, this woodshed was more like a place of punishment. Whenever a palace maid made a mistake, they would be brought here to chop firewood. They would only be released if they performed well. However, Yi was going to spend the rest of her life here. In Lu Jing's bedroom, a discussion had just ended, and the matter of the marriage had been decided. Marriage was a big matter, and Yi Hua naturally had to bring all of his subordinates to attend. Right now, Yi Zizi was still busy with work, so he still had to wait. There was also his mother's illness that needed to be treated. The wedding was set for 4 months later. By then, Yi Zizi and the others would have more or less finished their work and could come back to attend the wedding. Gong Yu was very happy today. Her wish was fulfilled. How can an ordinary woman win against me? Gong Yu. Yi Hua walked out of the room and lit a cigarette. After all, it wasn't good to smoke in the room. I can't let them breathe in secondhand smoke, right? Big brother. She has been released. Yi Hua said faintly. Yi Juetian was happy. As long as she is released, everything will be fine. Yi won't have to suffer in the imperial prison anymore. Big brother, thank you. Yi Juetian said sincerely. He knew what kind of person his big brother was. To be able to let Yi live was already giving him a lot of face. Yi Hua didn't say anything and stretched out his hand. Yi Juetian went into a daze. Big brother, what are you doing? Yi Juetian had a bad feeling. Just like the bamboo tube that was confiscated that day. Yi Hua said faintly, you are already married now, don't think about those useless things. I have already said it like this. How could Yi Juetian still not understand? He obediently took out the mirror and placed it on Yi Hua's palm. The mirror instantly turned into dust in Yi Hua's hand, and he said coldly, if I find out what kind of method you used to contact me, don't blame me for being merciless. I got it. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. Originally, I wanted to ask Yi about it, but from the looks of it now, I won't have the chance to do so. She is a spy, do you understand? She was sent by Huang Feidi. Yi Hua said gravely, then walked into the room. Yi Juetian didn't believe that Yi was a spy. This was a thought that emerged from the bottom of his heart. Yi definitely wasn't that kind of person. Yi Hua felt bored standing in the room. Qingya looked like she was taking care of everything. As expected of a strong woman, the way she does things is still as nimble as before. With this, I can finally relax a little. Returning to the bedroom, Yi Hua saw that Qian Yuqing was still sleeping. Still sleeping? Yi Hua sat at the side and lightly moved aside Qian Yuqing's beautiful hair. Looking at Qian Yuqing's beautiful face, Yi Hua felt a bit more comfortable in his heart. Qian Yuqing slowly opened her eyes, then used her cheek to rub against Yi Hua's palm. Yi Hua, your palm is so warm, so comfortable. My embrace is even warmer. Yi Hua pinched onto Qian Yuqing's cheek and said lightly. And very comfortable. Qian Yuqing was currently enjoying it very much. I finally completed my wish. This feeling is really good. Perhaps not too long later, I will be able to get pregnant with Yi Hua's child, and the child will definitely be a very obedient child. However, I hope that the child won't be like Yi Hua's personality. Little Tian is going to get married. Yi Hua said lightly. Qian Yuqing's gaze became much more serious as she cried out in surprise. Little Tian is going to get married? With who? Seems like you know quite a lot of things. Yi Hua said gravely. Seeing that Yi Hua was about to flip out, Qian Yuqing became afraid, and she didn't even dare to look straight at Yi Hua's gaze. Yi Hua asked faintly, tell me, should I hit you or not? I should. Qian Yuqing said, feeling wronged. Qian Yuqing is already your wife, and yet you still hit me. Don't you feel sorry for your wife? Yi Hua stretched out his hand and flicked onto Qian Yuqing's forehead. If you continue to help me, I will let you experience what it means to not get down from the bed for a month. Understood. Qian Yuqing said pitifully. That obedient look of hers caused Yi Hua to become a bit restless again. End of this chapter. Chapter 1105. Yi Hua? Is little Tian married to Gong Yu? Qian Yuqing asked doubtfully. Then, who do you think it is with? Yi Hua said indifferently as he rubbed his temples. Because of his younger brother's matter, he was also extremely worried. Qian Yuqing knew that it would be like this. Yi was currently in such a passive position. It was impossible for her to marry Ju Tian. But why did Yi Juetian suddenly agree? Perhaps it was also because of Yi. Did you let Yi go? Chen Yuqing asked. As expected of my woman, her brain is still very active. Xiao Tian himself said that he will live well with Gongyu in the future. Yi Hua said lightly. Chen Yuqing understood Yi Juetian quite well. Living a good life was definitely out of the question. That's fine too. Chen Yuqing didn't know what to say anymore and could only go along with Yi Hua's wishes. Get up and eat. Why are you still sleeping? Mother just told you not to bother me. Humph. I don't believe you. You're just bullying me, talking nonsense in front of my mother. Chen Yuqing pouted. Even though she was thousands of years old, this action was still very cute. Then why don't you go and explain? Ah, you really said that? Yeah. Yuqing won't let me get out of bed. Yi Hua, how can you be like this? If mother's attitude towards me changes, I will definitely not let you off. Chen Yuqing immediately ran out of the bedroom. Her waist was really not sore, her legs did not hurt anymore, she could run a few hundred meters in a single breath. Yi Hua shook his head. Just a while ago, he was still saying that he was going to die from the pain, and yet right now, he can be so unrestrained. It seems like I, the Supreme Overlord, have still underestimated Yu Qing. I wonder how Yu Tong is doing right now. I have to contact her. Qing Yutong. What are you doing? Yi Hua transmitted his voice to Qing Yutong and asked. 1 second, 1 minute, 5 minutes. Qing Yutong. Yi Hua shouted out. Aya, brother-in-law, what are you doing? Qing Yutong's lazy voice sounded out in Yi Hua's mind. Speak human language. Brother-in-law, I'm sleeping, sob sob sob. Humph your ass. Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Mrs. Yu, can we have sex? Get lost. Sure. Can you be a little more normal? Qing Yutong let out a yawn. All right, what orders does brother-in-law have for me? Just what are you all doing? When are you all coming back? Yi Hua asked gravely. If it's fast, it'll take 1 year, if it's slow, it'll take 10 years. That's about it. Yi Hua. I'll give you 4 months. If you can't do it well, don't come back. With that, he disconnected the call. Right now, Qing Yutong was lying on a cradle, and beside her, there were 2 palace maids that were kneeling on the cradle. One of the palace maids was shaking the cradle, and the other 2 palace maids were lightly fanning the cradle. There was even one kneeling at the side, peeling strange fruits. Have you ever seen a banana-shaped peach before? There were grapes the size of oranges. They were simply too delicious. This was something that could not be found in the north and could only be enjoyed in the south. Qing Yutong and the others had already arrived at Yang Haotian's empire, and they had already stayed there for more than 10 days, and they felt very comfortable. He had even forgotten his purpose of coming out. Yi Zizi, just now, brother-in-law sent a message over. Qing Yutong continued to close her eyes, and even wore a pair of sunglasses. However, beside Qing Yutong, Yi Zizi was also in the same mode. Not only Yi Zizi, there was also Yu Hua, Brett, and Kai Yun. There were 5 women in a row. Big Braised Egg Ren Yao was currently fishing. Meanwhile, this place was specially set up by Qi Shu Win in the Imperial Palace, and it was for these women to enjoy themselves. Yi Zizi pouted her mouth. What orders did His Honor give us? I think he said that he wants us to complete the mission in 4 months, and if we don't go back, then don't go back. After finished speaking, Qing Yutong let out a yawn. I'm so sleepy. I really want to sleep. The main reason is that the south's weather is too pleasant. When the wind blows, it feels just like being in Sanya. I really miss it. Kai Yun immediately sat up. We have to hurry up and make a plan then. Brett's slender and beautiful legs were placed on top of each other as she asked lightly, Do you have a plan? Qing Yutong said embarrassedly, I am still thinking about it. This place seems to be rather close to the Deity Academy. Yu Hua said lightly, seemingly having already placed her target on the Deity Academy. Qing Yutong said unhurriedly, It is best for us not to get involved in the matter between Meridian Break Sect and the Deity Academy. Brother-in-law has already made arrangements for Ali and the others. There is no need for us to get involved. What are we going to do then? The most formidable forces in the south are Meridian Break Sect and the Deity Academy. Could it be that there is an existence that is even more formidable? Kai Yun asked curiously. He picked up a fist-sized grape at the side and fiercely took a bite. The grape juice shot all over his mouth, and under the illumination of the sunlight, the grape juice was golden and dazzling. Yi Zizi said with a look of disdain, "Kai Yun, can you not be so disgusting when you eat? Shooting the juice all over my mouth. None of your business." Kai Yun pouted his mouth, then immediately retorted. Yu Hua, who was at the side, lightly wiped the corner of Kai Yun's mouth. Yi Zizi snorted coldly. "This kind of bickering is already a normal thing. I am not surprised at all. Look at how calm and collected the guardian Ren Yao, who is fishing, is right now. He has already developed a strong immunity to bickering." After all, in the hands of the 5 perverts, no matter how he tries to resist, it is useless. Therefore, since he is unable to resist, he might as well enjoy the struggle. "Yutong, if we return empty-handed, we will definitely receive his honor's punishment," Brett said lightly. In actuality, he was not afraid of his honor's punishment, but rather, he was afraid of his honor's disappointment. Qing Yutong let out a light sigh. "How would I know? Who else can we offend? Furthermore, it is that kind of super strong person. To brother-in-law, he just wants to spread Wuxia Empire's name." Thinking up to here, Qing Yutong's eyes shone. "I have an idea," Qing Yutong shouted out. "What idea?" Yi Zizi hurriedly asked. "Do something." "How do we do it?" "I don't know." Everyone, Qing Yutong felt that it would be better to just sleep and have fun for the remaining 4 months. After that, I will go back and receive a scolding. At most, I will not be able to get off the bed for a few days. What's the big deal? In any case, it is quite comfortable. That would be a reward in disguise, hee. Right at this moment, Yang Haotian slowly walked in with an emperor's might on his face. With a wave of his hand, the palace maids all left the room. After everyone left the room, Yang Haotian's expression changed. "Big sisters, how are your moods today?" "Not good," the 5 women said at the same time. Yang Haotian's heart sunk. Why are these 5 women in a bad mood? Yang Haotian secretly looked towards Yi Zizi's butt. "That red packet is so damn tempting. When will I be able to get it?" "Big sister, do you need me to barbecue for you all?" "No need, just tell me, who else is strong in the south?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. End of chapter. Chapter 1106. Yang Haotian was puzzled. "Everyone else is hiding. Yet you two are looking for me. Although you two are very perverted, in this world, there is no lack of perverted people. Then, that expert is going to die very miserably. You two are already so perverted. Can't you just let others live? Why do you two have to act cool? After acting cool, you still have to make others feel despair. This is not good at all. Big sister, I really don't know. The strongest ones are Broken Meridian Sect and Deity Academy." Yang Haotian said helplessly. Brett suddenly asked, "Do you have any way to make Wuxia Empire famous?" "Make Wuxia Empire famous?" Yang Haotian asked puzzledly. Brett nodded his head. As for whether it is a good reputation or a bad reputation, Brett was naturally biased towards a bad reputation. What's the point of a good reputation? Only a bad reputation is interesting. It would be best if everyone in the south besieged Wuxia Empire. Then his honor would be satisfied. However, to besiege Wuxia Empire, I have to attract a lot of hatred. Yang Haotian pondered for a long time, then suddenly clapped his hands. "I have a way to make Wuxia Empire famous. Let's go to the Evil Men's City." Hearing the words Evil Men's City, Yi Zizi and Brett's eyes shone. "We feel that this is the place we belong to." Kai Yun and Yu Hua revealed curious expressions as well. Qingya asked puzzledly, "What does this Evil Men's City mean?" "This Evil Men's City is a lawless area, and the powers here are very complicated. There are many experts here, and most importantly, killing people in the city is not against the law. If you are able to get rid of the city lord, you will become the city lord yourself." Qing Yutong asked curiously, "What does this have to do with becoming famous?" In actuality, this Evil Men's City itself is a power. It is a bit weaker than Broken Meridian Sect and Deity Academy, but it is still a very powerful existence. Killing people in the Evil Men's City will immediately make you famous. Following Yang Haotian's words, Qing Yutong indeed had to think about it. "I feel that it is feasible. Yi Zizi was the first to agree. I can kill everyone in the evil men's city. Brett said, I feel that it is feasible as well. Yi Zizi snorted coldly and thought, you big-breasted girl trying to imitate me. I want to go and play as well. Kai Yun also seemed to be interested in that evil men's city. The main thing was that he could kill people in the city. That feeling would definitely be awesome. Yu Hua was naturally on Kai Yun's side. Qing Yutong spread out her hands. Let's go to this evil man's city then. Milk to death. Then I'll definitely be your guide. Of course, Yang Haotian would follow her. He would follow Yi Zizi even if he had to die. Unless she returned the red packet to him, he would be no different from a walking corpse. Ran Yao continued fishing and pretended not to hear. All of you go. Let this guardian fish here. You should properly be an emperor here. What are you following us for? There is a difference between men and women. Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. Yang Haotian was unconvinced. He pointed at Ran Yao and said, isn't he a man? Of course he's not a man. Don't you know that? Yi Zizi retorted. Ran Yao, who was fishing, trembled. They were discussing whether she was a man or not again. What's wrong with transvestites? Did transvestites steal your vegetables or eat your cucumber? He was actually prejudiced against transvestites. Actually, this evil men's city is not that easy to go to, Yang Haotian advised earnestly. Brett snorted. There is no place in this world that I, Brett, cannot go. Boasting, Yi Zizi muttered. Flat-chested girl. You have been very arrogant recently. Big-chested girl. What do you want to do, fight? Come on. Come on. Come on. If you have the ability, come on. Qing Yutong shook her head helplessly. The two of them were like huskies, the strongest kings. However, they were unable to fight. Then, tell me, how is it difficult? Qing Yutong asked. Yang Haotian's gaze became dignified as he said gravely, Evil men's city. Of course, it has to be an extremely vicious and evil person. Coincidentally, I am that kind of person. With me around, I will definitely be able to bring big sisters into the city. Everyone, wow, big brother, you are so fierce. You are actually an extremely vicious and evil person. Why don't you have committed countless crimes? Kai Yun looked at Yang Haotian and revealed a strange smile. Do we look like good people to you? Yang Haotian shook his head reflexively. How can you guys be good people? I, Yang Haotian, will go and eat dog shit. I will not even blink when eating dog shit. Plop. Yang Haotian immediately knelt down. Big sister, just bring me along to play. Let this little brother experience big sister's brilliance. In actuality, what Yang Haotian wanted to say was that he wanted to experience big sister's brilliance. Yi Zizi said gravely, no way. Yang Haotian wanted to cry. Can't you give me a chance? I only want a red packet. Let my red packet system return to normal. Let my strength improve. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Just where did I, Yang Haotian, go wrong, tell me? He only dared to think these words in his heart, fearing that he would be beaten if he said it out. Qing Yutong understood Yi Zizi's meaning, so she decided, I will bring you along then. After hearing that, Yang Haotian became happy. Big sister is still more humane. Heart, Yutong. Yi Zizi didn't understand. Why do I have to bring him along? Qing Yutong said in a low voice. Zizi, don't you feel that this Yang Haotian and that Ran Yao together is quite interesting? If there is only Ran Yao, it will be less fun. That is true, but that fellow is always staring at my butt. I really want to suck him to death. Yi Zizi said angrily. Just this once, we will be going back. Yi Zizi thought about it and agreed with what Qing Yutong said. Yang Haotian was thinking in his heart, this might be my last chance. If I don't succeed, I will have to go and die. Big sister, when are we setting off? Let's play for a few more days, and bring me some more fruits. All right, are there any entertainment activities? Qing Yutong asked faintly. I guarantee that big sister will be satisfied. Little brother will go and arrange it right now. Looking at Yang Haotian leaving, Qing Yutong said in a low voice. Look, with a little brother by our side, we won't have to do much. The few nodded their heads. What Qing Yutong said makes sense. After all, little brother is used to do things. Just like his honor, he never does anything. Little brother is always the one doing everything. At this very moment, in a certain cave in the south, a faint fire was lit up. Woof, woof, woof. A golden retriever could be seen running to the entrance of the cave and barking excitedly, as if it was returning home. Long Outyen and Jiu Yi were naturally walking behind the golden retriever. Dad. When Long Outyen and Jiu Yi heard the golden retrievers barking, the corner of their mouths couldn't help but twitch. This is a child who was pricked by silver needles. Chu Yuxuan. End of this chapter. Chapter 1107. Chu Yuxuan ran out happily and even jumped around as he looked at Long Outyen and shouted. That tall and big body was the same height as Long Outyen, but he still called Long Outyen daddy. Long Outyen decided to give Chu Yuxuan acupuncture treatment later. After so many days, I have already trained enough. I have to make this Chu Yuxuan back to a normal person. If not, my son will be jealous. Long Yang was indeed very jealous. He stood at the side and did not say anything. Little brother, big brother will hug you. Chu Yuxuan grinned. Long Yang was so scared that he immediately ran into the cave and shouted, Mommy! Chu Yuxuan also did the same. Mommy! Long Outyen, who was outside, let out a heavy sigh. Outyen, it's fine. Isn't it just having an older son? Jiu Yi laughed lightly. Jiu Yi, I will pass this son to you. Haha, I, Jiu Yi, can't raise such an old son. The two of them were hunting wild animals. They temporarily stayed here and did not dare to be too ostentatious. Outyen, you are back. Meng Meng was still so gentle. After so many years, she still maintained the same appearance. Wife, wild chicken, wild boar. Long Outyen laughed lightly. Wow, today's harvest is quite a lot. Did you guys run very far? This is too dangerous. Those people seem to be chasing after us. Meng Meng was very worried, but when she looked at Death Assassin at the side, she became confident again. Master is here, there is no need to be afraid. Go and cook first, I am hungry. Long Outyen patted his chest. His chest muscles were very developed. Chu Yuxuan pouted. Mommy, I am hungry. Long Outyen felt that he could not continue watching anymore. This is too disgusting. I will definitely stab him back. Son, come here. Long Outyen waved his hand. Long Yang thought that he was called, but that Chu Yuxuan ran very quickly and directly snatched over. Long Yang felt wronged and directly cried to look for his mother. This bad guy, snatching my father. Long Outyen decided to do it. Son, Daddy will play a game with you, okay? Long Outyen said seriously. Okay, I like to play with Daddy. Hearing this, Long Yang cried even louder. Daddy doesn't want me anymore and still wants to play games with other people. Long Outyen temporarily ignored Long Yang and looked at Chu Yuxuan with a smile. Sit in front of Daddy and don't move. Daddy will transfer some energy to you. Really? Chu Yuxuan asked innocently. Of course it's true. When have I ever lied to you? If you don't believe me, you can ask Jiu Yi. Lord Jiu nodded and said, Yes, this game is really fun. Okay, let's play then. Dad, don't work too hard. All right. Chu Yuxuan sat cross-legged in front of Long Outyen. Long Outyen took out a pack of silver needles and lit up the oil lamp. He needed to disinfect it. Son, it will be a little painful later. You have to bear with it. Okay, Dad, I understand, Chu Yuxuan said obediently. Lord Jiu, can I trouble you to hold the oil lamp for me? Lord Jiu took the oil lamp and asked curiously, Can you see it clearly? Yes, it's all right. Long Outyen blinked his eyes. His eyesight had been a little problematic recently. However, the sun was shining brightly outside the cave. Daddy, it hurts. Chu Yuxuan seemed to have felt a pricking sensation and couldn't help but shout out. Long Yang immediately calmed down. So Daddy is pricking someone, so scary? Son, bear with it for a while, it will be fine soon. Long Outyen squinted his eyes and pricked a silver needle into Long Yang's body. Then he let out a heavy breath. When the silver needle is being pricked, a technique is needed. The profoundness of the technique is very profound. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to understand it. When Lord Jiu, who was at the side, saw Long Outyen pricking the silver needle, he felt that he was a bit sloppy. Suddenly, he turned his head to take a look. The outside, seems to be brighter than the inside. Should I remind Long Outyen? However, seeing how concentrated Long Outyen was, Lord Jiu was afraid that he would disturb Long Outyen. After thinking about it, he decided to forget about it. What if Long Outyen becomes a retard if he is not careful? After all, he is already retarded enough right now. After a long while, Long Outyen let out a deep breath. Soon after, his chi sank into his dantian. Done and done. Chu Yuxuan's head could be seen to be filled with silver needles. Chu Yuxuan's body was already fixed in place, but there wasn't any sign of pain on his face. Long Outyen took a look. Seems like it is safe this time. Finally, there is one less son. Jiu Yi also felt happy for Long Outyen. There is finally one less idiot. However, why does Long Outyen feel that there is something strange this time? It was too quiet. Long Outyen removed the needles and walked over to Chu Yuxuan to examine him. Lord Jiu squatted beside Long Outyen and asked, "Will we succeed this time?" "I think so." "What will happen if I fail?" Long Outyen's mouth twitched. "Is there a worse time than now?" Lord Jiu felt that these words were true. Chu Yuxuan slowly opened his eyes. Long Outyen's heart was heavy. "Do you agree or not? Give me an answer." Looking at Chu Yuxuan's expression, Long Outyen felt that there was hope. At the very least, his expression was no longer that of a child's. Instead, it carried a sense of seriousness and vicissitudes. "Who am I?" Long Outyen pointed at himself excitedly. "Father," Chu Yuxuan said coldly. Long Outyen was speechless. "You motherf asterisk cur." If he had been a retarded child before, then he was now imitating a cold and aloof Prince Charming. Lord Jiu patted Long Outyen's shoulder. "You're much better than before. You just need to practice more." Lord Jiu was now afraid of Long Outyen. Fortunately, he had not been stabbed to death by Long Outyen back then. "Grandfather." Puff. Lord Jiu almost puked out a mouthful of blood. Long Outyen suddenly laughed out loud. This Lord Jiu was still laughing at me just now. Now that I have become a grandfather, it should be comfortable now, right? Long Outyen pointed at Lord Jiu and laughed. "What should I call him?" "Grandpa," Chu Yuxuan said in a deep voice. His voice was cold and aloof. Long Outyen laughed out loud again. Finally, there was someone who got implicated. Lord Jiu said impatiently, "What should I call him?" "Father." "Then what should he call me?" Lord Jiu asked. "Father." Long Outyen immediately stopped laughing. It seems like I am the one who suffered a loss." "Ha ha ha." Lord Jiu's laughter rang out in the cave. "Just now, you wanted to laugh at me." Woof woof woof. Golden Retriever, who was at the side, also started barking. Lord Jiu stretched out his hand and patted Xiao Bao's head. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Although this kind of life is not very good, it is still very happy. This was the original intention of my search. "Did you fail again?" Meng Meng walked over and asked. "Mother!" Chu Yuxuan shouted out coldly. Then, he looked at Long Yong and shouted, "Little brother! Everyone, Long Outyen still hasn't given up. I must definitely stab him to death no matter what." "Time to eat," Meng Meng said lightly. The few of them sat together and ate, and Death Assassin was still sitting cross-legged, seemingly like he was meditating. "Meng Meng, after discussing with Lord Jiu for a bit today, we still have to leave," Long Outyen said gravely. Chapter 1108. Meng Meng picked up a piece of meat for Long Outyen and said, "Outyen, you can make the decision. Our child and I will always follow you." Long Outyen stretched out his hand and patted Meng Meng's shoulder. Having a wife like Meng Meng in this life was enough. At this moment, Lord Jiu said in a deep voice, "The people from the Heavenly Assassins organization seem to be from a very strong sect. They are chasing us relentlessly. Today, when we went hunting, we met someone. He said that there is a place called Evil Men City not far from here." Long Outyen added, "I heard that the City of Vile Men is a lawless zone. Furthermore, these sects will not enter. So, I think that we can hide in the City of Vile Men and come out after the storm has passed." Meng Meng put down her chopsticks and asked curiously, "Outyen, what does this Evil Man City mean?" "The kind where you can kill people on the streets," Lord Jiu said in a deep voice. This evil men's city was not a good place, but it was better than where they were now. Furthermore, with the Almighty there was nothing to fear. Long Outyen thought so too. With his master around, he would definitely be safe. After Meng Meng heard this, she slightly frowned and immediately asked, "Is the evil men's city really good?" "I'm scared of Long Yang." Meng Meng was worried that if the child grew up in such an environment, it would be a problem in the future. Indeed, Long Outyen was a little worried about his child. However, the current situation was not very optimistic. Being chased by such a powerful sect was not a good thing. No matter how strong the master was, there was only one master. If someone restrained the master, then the others would also be in danger. This was especially true for his wife and children. If they were not strong enough, it would be easy for them to be caught. Lord Jiu opened his canteen and drank a mouthful. "Sister-in-law, perhaps the evil men's city is not what we imagine it to be. However, there is one thing we can be sure of. Those sects will not go to the evil men's city." Meng Meng nodded, but she was still very worried. At this time, Chu Yuxuan coldly said, "Mom, don't worry, I have a son. No one can bully you. Unless you step over my dead body." What awe-inspiring righteousness, what heroic words, what magnificent feat, Grandpa. "Daddy. Don't worry, I'm here. No one can touch a single hair of yours. And my little brother," Chu Yuxuan said with a cold expression. "Everyone, big brother, don't talk anymore. I'm getting goosebumps." However, at this moment, Death Assassin opened his eyes. "Master." Long Outyen was delighted. His master had been sitting for an entire day, and he had woken up in the afternoon. The Death Assassin had been contacting his superior, Death Mage. However, the Death Assassin's strength was still limited. The distance was too far, and it was impossible for the Death Assassin to transmit his voice. Meanwhile, Death Mage had already forgotten that he still had a little brother outside. Back then, he had ordered Death Assassin to stay by Long Outyen's side, and right now, Death Assassin was about to become his family. One must know that in the past, the Death Assassin was an existence without any humanity. Now that he had humanity, it was truly not easy. The Death Assassin's black eye sockets emitted out a red light. It slowly stood up and gestured with its hands. His sign language skills were amazing. Of course, Jiuyi didn't dare to be rash. That skeleton from back then was still vivid in his mind, and that skeleton actually liked to fish and smoke cigars. Especially when he was smoking his cigar, his whole body would emit smoke. That kind of scene was really embarrassing. There was also that sinister scythe. Just looking at it was enough to make people shiver. And that, Biu. Although this wasn't that skeleton, it was still very similar to it. Master said that we can go to the evil city to take a look, then make a decision. Long Outyen was delighted in his heart. Since Master has confirmed it, of course we can go. Meng Meng didn't say anything anymore. It is good that Master has such confidence. Jiuyi lightly stroked Xiao Bao's head. The latter licked his lips and half-closed his eyes, enjoying this moment very much. "After we finish eating, we will pack up and set off to the evil city." Long Outyen also didn't want to live his days of hiding. If those people didn't come that day, I might still be living a comfortable life. Right now, I am unable to live a comfortable life at all. Death Assassin nodded its head. Not sure when it will be able to see its master, and also its master's master's master. After everyone finished eating, Meng Meng prepared some more food, and everyone continued their journey. Death Assassin was currently wearing a black gown, and there was also an iron mask on its face that was a bit rough. However, it was precisely this roughness that gave people a kind of cold intent, as if it didn't have any emotions. "Let's just head east," Jiuyi said softly. Everyone nodded their heads and headed east. If there was nothing to eat along the way, they hunted some wild animals. The pursuers behind them didn't seem to relax and were chasing them closely. After a week, the few of them finally arrived at the evil city. However, what Long Outyen and Jiuyi did not expect was that there were a lot of ordinary people here. Take the city gate as an example. Previously, they thought that it would be deserted. After all, entering the evil city would mean being killed at any moment. However, looking at these ordinary people, they didn't seem to be afraid at all. Instead, all of them were very excited. It was as if entering the evil city would make them rich. Death Assassin's identity was not discovered by anyone. His attire was very normal, and he avoided other people's gaze. As for Meng Meng, when some men looked at her, her appearance was unquestionable. She was the type of pretty girl from a humble family. Of course, Long Outyen was also very picky. He also took a fancy to Meng Meng's appearance, and she was obedient and well-behaved. The evil city was not that big compared to the other districts. The tall city walls were erected from the ground, and the top of the city walls were all made of that kind of stone. It looked very old, and there were guards standing on top of the city walls, checking the people entering the city. At the entrance of the city, everyone who entered the city had to go through a test. Everyone had to hold on to the steel, and there would be flashes of light on the steel. There was a total of 10 stars. As long as one star lit up, one would be able to enter the city. This meant that the person had already reached the level of a bad person. The more stars there were, it meant that the person had done all sorts of bad things. This kind of situation wouldn't cause the people to feel disgusted. On the contrary, the higher the stars there were, it meant that the person's status in the city was very high. This was simply someone who had broken through the bottom line of morality to be able to have 10 stars. Long Outyen observed for a bit. Basically, all of them were 1 star. Many years ago, I seem to have been a bad person as well. Recently, I have become a good person. Very quickly, it was Long Outyen's turn. This big brother, this is my wife and child, I should be able to bring them in, right? Long Outyen asked. If he was unable to bring them in, there was no need for him to enter the city. Yes, the guard said faintly. I'm afraid that all of them will die in the city. Long Outyen was delighted. As long as I am able to bring them in, it will be great. However, just as Long Outyen was about to start the test, the sound of people giving way came out from the city. What followed after was a stench that smelled like a dead rat. 5 handcarts could be seen slowly being pushed out. On top of the handcart was a white cloth, but a few patches of the cloth were dyed red by blood. End of this chapter. Chapter 1109. Needless to say, it was obvious what this handcart was transporting. There were corpses on it. Look at that hand, it was even exposed. Meng Meng hurriedly covered her son's eyes, while Chu Yuxuan was watching with great interest. The guard said faintly, "These are the people who died in the city yesterday. Do you guys still want to go in?" Long Outyen took a look at Meng Meng. His wife had been following him for a long time, and he had to find a stable place for his wife and son to stay. Yes. The guard nodded. Long Outyen walked to the front of the stone tablet and pressed his hand on it. He prayed in his heart, 1 star please. The stone tablet emitted a green mist that revolved around the stone tablet. By the first star lit up. It was very beautiful. Long Outyen let out a sigh of relief. Luckily I am still an evil person. Just when Long Outyen thought that it was going to end, the second star also lit up. This made the guard stupefied. This handsome man actually has a 2-star index. This can be considered as the opening day. Bye. Another star appeared. This fellow actually has a 3-star index. The guard couldn't help but look at the others. This man is so bad, and you guys are actually following him. Long Outyen also didn't expect that he would actually have a 3-star index. He immediately looked at Meng Meng. Don't you know what kind of person you are? Meng Meng slightly pouted and even covered Long Yang's eyes, to prevent the child from knowing how bad his father was. 3 stars evil person index was already not a small achievement. This made the other people reveal an expression of respect. They definitely wouldn't go and provoke him. However, right at this moment, a whistling sound could be heard. 3 winged horses could be seen galloping over and steadily stopped at the entrance. Yo, 3 stars, not bad. The man at the front shouted with a frivolous expression, appearing to be very arrogant. This man's appearance wasn't very outstanding, but this arrogant aura was released very well. Seems like he is also a person who frequently acts cool. Following the appearance of the man, the surrounding people started to discuss softly. This is young Master E, the second young master of E family. Evil person index 5 stars. What, 5 stars? Is he so awesome? That's for sure. This young Master E is extremely bad. He would kill people just because of a disagreement. Then it's better not to speak in case he hears us. Yi Xing went out of the city for a stroll today, and when he came back, he happened to see Long Outyen acting cool. A mere 3-star cultivator dares to challenge me. A 5-star cultivator? Long Outyen had been wrong today. He hadn't acted tough for a long time, and he had long given away his title as the Act Tough King. I gave it to that man. The nightmare of this lifetime. I don't want to recall that day anymore. However, it was fortunate that there was such a day. Otherwise, how could he have met Meng Meng? Long Outyen looked at Yi Xing. If it was according to his temper back then, he would have slapped Yi Xing in the face today. But now he, Long Outyen, had already kept a low profile. He disdained doing such things. Not bad, 3 stars. Are you interested in being my subordinate? Yi Xing turned his head and looked at Long Outyen. He looked down from above as if the evil men's city was his home. I, Long Outyen, hate people like you the most. How dare you act tough in front of me? If it was in the past, he would have given him a tight slap for acting tough. But it was different this time. It was an away game. They couldn't be careless. Furthermore, they were not familiar with the people and the place. What would they do if they were besieged? Young master, you think too highly of me. I only know some mediocre martial arts. Long Outyen cupped his hands and walked over to Meng Meng's side. Yi Xing looked at Long Outyen. He actually rejected him. Yi Xing's face immediately darkened. In this evil men's city, who dares to reject me, young master Yi? That person is simply seeking death. Those who rejected me are basically all dead. You have to pay attention. Yi Xing immediately let out a warning. His meaning was very clear. If you have the ability, enter the city. Jiu Yi did not want to pay attention to this kind of idiot. Youngsters just like to act tough. If you don't act tough for a moment, you will die. Evil Man Index. 5 stars. I think that your Evil Man Index is 8 stars. Jiu Yi directly pressed onto the stone tablet. Yi Xing originally wanted to enter the city, but when he saw Jiu Yi pressing onto the stone tablet, he decided to wait for a moment. Along with the appearance of 1 star after another, everyone took in a breath of cold air. This old man is actually so bloodthirsty. However, this was just the beginning. The Evil Man Index was still rising. In the end, when the Evil Man Index stopped above 5 stars, everyone froze. This old man is actually in existence with an Evil Man Index of 5 stars. Exactly the same as young Master Yi. Yi Xing was also very shocked. This old man actually has 5 stars. Is the stone tablet broken? If not, it is impossible for this to be possible. It is normal for Jiu Yi to have 5 stars. Back then, when we besieged Voidless Realm, several 100,000 people died. Giving an evaluation of 5 stars was something that could not be any more normal. Meng Meng also didn't expect that Jiu Yi is actually so evil. In actuality, Jiu Yi also didn't understand. Am I really that evil? Xiao Bao, who was at the side, had a puzzled look on his face. My God, this old man is actually so evil. Old man, he is very evil. Look at young Master Yi. His face has already darkened. That's right, there is an evil man with 5 stars in his team. Yi Xing was indeed in a bad mood right now. Later on, when I enter the city, I will definitely kill them. To actually not give me face at all. Also, that man who is wearing a black iron mask, acting so mysterious, he is even better at acting tough than me. Yo, isn't this young Master Yi? A strange voice could be heard. A man who was wearing a white gown could be seen waving a folding fan as he walked out. He seemed very flirtatious. A bit feminine. His appearance was very similar to that of a woman. That enchanting posture of his really makes people blush with shame. This is Meng family's young master. It should be Big Miss instead. Sure, this is an existence with a 6-star Evil Man Index. Be careful not to enter the city and get rid of you. 6-star Evil Man Index? My God. Is it really that scary? That's right, this is your first time here, right? It is best to be a bit more careful. If not, you wouldn't even know how you died. Yi Xing looked at Meng Yi, who was walking over, and his expression wasn't very good. Everyone's arrival truly brings light to this vile city. Meng Yi opened up his arms and slightly leaned forward, appearing to be very hospitable. At the very least, in Long Outyen and Jiu Ye's eyes, this Meng Yi feels much better. As for this Yi Xing, he is just an arrogant person, not interesting at all. This kind of person is a character that the main character can act tough for, and not long later, he will die under the main character's acting tough. Long Outyen and Jiao Yi took a look at each other. After all, they had just arrived here, and they still needed someone to give them some pointers. The water in this vile city is rather deep. Just look at these two young masters and you will know, they are definitely like fire and water. Young master, you are too polite. Long Outyen cupped his hands and said. Meng Yi revealed a brilliant smile. Those spotlessly white teeth, those captivating red lips, it really makes people. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:10. I can tell that you have come from afar. Why don't you come to my house as guests? Meng Yi sent out an invitation. These people did not look like good people, and if he could rope them into his camp, he would definitely make a killing. The main thing was to deal a blow to Yi Xing, so why not? How could I? I'm sorry to trouble you, young master. Long Outyen said politely. It's no trouble at all. It's fate that brought us together. Everyone, I'll treat you to the best dishes and wine. Please. Meng Yi smiled and opened his folding fan. Lord Zhou silently nodded his head. He would first go and get some food and a place to stay, then observe the situation. After all, we don't have money on us. Long Outyen knew this as well, so he did not intend to reject it. In fact, if Yi Xing had tried to persuade him just now, he might have gone as well. Unfortunately, this fellow only knew how to show off. Then I'll have to trouble you, young master. Long Outyen cupped his hands and said. He followed Meng Yi into the city. Meanwhile, Meng Yi's gaze landed on Death Assassin. He felt that within this group, this was the worst. Most importantly, he wanted to invite this black robe. Death Assassin originally wanted to touch the stone tablet, but in the end, he did not manage to do so. Fortunately, he did not manage to loot it. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. The Death Assassin was originally summoned from the abyss. It was unknown what kind of bad things he did in his previous life that he ended up in the abyss. With this touch, it would definitely be 10 stars. At that time, Yi Xing would definitely regret it so much that his intestines would turn green. Originally, he had thought that they were minor characters. In the end, they were all major characters. A bronze contestant trying to act cool in front of a few kings was nothing more than a clown. There was nothing to fear. The kind that didn't even bother with them. Only after walking into the vile city did Long Outyen realize that the people here. There were so many of them. Just what kind of city is this evil men's city? It is actually so flourishing. He thought that he would see a fight on the street as soon as he came in, but this was the scene he saw. It was really incomprehensible. The group of people followed Meng Yi and observed their surroundings. This was the first time he had entered the city after coming here for so long. It was as if he had entered an ancient film set. It was a very strange feeling. Even Meng Meng had a curious look on her face. However, a few kilometers away from the city, there was another team preparing to enter the city. Naturally, it was Qing Yutong's team. Qing Yutong recognized Long Outyen. After all, she had met him once at home. That Long Outyen wanted to eat both big and small, but in the end, he was killed by Yihua instead. However, right now, Yihua had already forgotten about Long Outyen. Ren Yao, your hair hasn't grown out yet. Yang Haotian couldn't help but tease her. Ren Yao touched his bald head. Under the light, it was almost reflective. Yang Haotian, if you talk about my hair again, I'll make sure you don't have any hair on your body. Ran Yao shouted in a deep voice. It was obvious that this was not the first time Yang Haotian had teased Ren Yao about her hair. This big Luodan really couldn't help but want to tease him a little. Yi Zizi and the others were sitting in the carriage at the back. Yi Zizi poked her head out and asked, Luodan, have you arrived yet? Yang Haotian spread his hands. I'm not the only one saying this. If you have the ability, go and shout at these women. A smile immediately appeared on Ren Yao's face. Big sister, we're only a few kilometers away. Hurry up. Really, you're so slow. You have no sense of time at all. Yi Zizi let out a soft snort and retreated back into the carriage. Hi Lu Dan, Yang Haotian shouted again. Scram! Braised egg, I heard you have a poached egg? Ran Yao tightly clenched her fists. Inside that poached egg, is filled with energy that was bred. And it was actually stomped into a poached egg by me. Just thinking about it makes me so angry. Kai Yun, how about we have a competition later on and see who can kill more people? Yi Zizi was already impatient. It has been a long time since I had a chance to massacre a city. It was as if I had returned to the time back then. Brett did not make a sound. I'm not interested in massacring a city. I'm only interested in experts. Yu Hua was also not interested, but she did not oppose it either. All right, but you can't be shameless and use the absorption skill. Kai Yun naturally knew about Yi Zizi's ultimate move. That move was akin to cheating. This is my skill, why can't I use it? Yi Zizi was unconvinced. If you have the ability, you can use this skill too. Qing Yutong said in a low voice. All right, after we enter the city, let's take a look at the situation first. Don't go in and start fighting. Why? It's not like killing people in the city is against the law. Why can't I kill them? Yi Zizi refuted. It wasn't easy for me to get this kind of opportunity, so how can I let it go? Because I have to carry out brother-in-law's logic. Qing Yutong straightforwardly brought out Yi Hua. Only Yi Hua would be able to make Yi Zizi and Kai Yun listen to him. As expected, after bringing out Yi Hua, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not speak anymore. The few kilometers of journey passed by very quickly, and they finally arrived at the city gate. Brett opened the curtains and took a look. It's merely a... Yi Zizi and the others also took a look at the city wall. This place is too poor, right? Don't they have the money to renovate it? Will there still be people coming to the city? Yang Haotian, what are you lining up for? Qing Yutong shouted out. Big sister, don't worry. This is to check the evil person index. Evil person index. The 5 women looked towards the city gate once again. They saw that everyone who wanted to enter the city had to leave their handprint on the gate. It seems like the more stars there are, the better. I'm going to play. Yi Zizi straightforwardly jumped off the carriage. I finally found something fun to do. When Yang Haotian saw Yi Zizi jumping out of the carriage, he was instantly excited. The red packet on his little butt refused to fall no matter what. So annoying. However, I can't even enter the city gate. Stealing red packets is impossible. Big sister, how about I go? Yang Haotian shouted out fawningly. He no longer dared to shout shuang. I'm really afraid that I'll be sucked to death. Yi Zizi could be seen jumping around with a lollipop in her mouth. This was the flavor of a loli that the uncle liked. At the very least, when other people saw Yi Zizi cutting the queue, they didn't say anything. Such an adorable child. It represented innocence, purity, and love. Look at those 2 ponytails. They are bouncing around rhythmically. If I grab them with both hands, what kind of effect would there be? Very quickly, Yi Zizi came to the side of the stone tablet and looked at the others pressing on the gate. It's too low. I didn't even see anyone with 2 stars, let alone someone with high stars. Little friend, where's your family? This guard seemed to be quite nice and asked. Yi Zizi answered, then looked at the stone tablet and said faintly, they're all dead. The people at the side were a little surprised. Such an adorable child actually lost his parents. Among them, there was a fat uncle. He really wanted to say, child, don't be afraid, from now on, I will be your father. Fortunately, this fat uncle only thought about it and didn't do it. If he really did it, his body would definitely be crushed into pieces. Child, this place is very dangerous. It's better for you to go back. The guard persuaded. Such an adorable child, if he entered the city, he would most likely become the pet of a big character. At that time, how pitiful would he be? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:11. Yi Zizi asked innocently, why should I go back? It's fun here. It's not fun here. People die every day. The guard explained. He had to correct this child's values. That's great. I like to see people die every day. Let me give it a massage. Before the guard could react, Yi Zizi pressed on the corpse. Before the guard could react, Yi Zizi had already touched the stone tablet. You, this child, why are you so? Before he could finish his sentence, the stone tablet could be seen to tremble slightly. A star popped up in front of him. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This child was actually an evil person. How was this possible? Such a naive child was actually a one-star villain. Then what is called naive? How should I define this word in the future? This kind of child. As everyone sighed, the evil person index continued to rise. 5 stars. Everyone's legs turned cold. This child actually has 5 stars. These 5 stars were still going up. Everyone's jaws were about to drop to the ground. Especially this guard, he didn't know how to think at all. His evil person index was now 8 stars. This is a miracle. This little girl is actually a demon. I completely couldn't tell at all. The smile on his face and the lollipop in his mouth were all fake. However, the stars on the stone tablet were actually full. His evil person index had reached 10 stars. Oh my god! What kind of girl was she? Yi Zizi was a little dissatisfied. Why were there only 10 stars? She could fill it up with a few hundred more. However, the stone tablet seemed to be able to hear Yi Zizi's voice as it was shaking violently. Everyone disperse! The guard shouted. Yi Zizi was the first to run away, and the surrounding people also quickly ran away. With a bang, the stone tablet instantly exploded, turning into small stones. Everyone was shocked. This stone tablet had been standing here for thousands of years, and no one had ever blown it up. He actually blew it up today. Where did that little girl go? Where did the culprit go? Right now, the main culprit was already hiding inside the carriage, and he was even hiding inside Qing Yutong's bosom. Wah, the outside is so scary, it scared me to death. Everyone, Brett said lightly, act as hard as you can. Big-breasted girl, what are you talking about? I'll rip you apart. Hee, flat-breasted girl, no matter how much you stuff it, it won't become bigger. You! Kai Yun went into a daze for a moment. He suddenly realized that Yi Zizi seemed to be a bit bigger today. What a good idea. Kai Yun silently looked down, then looked at Yu Hua, then looked at you, and looked at Yu Tong and looked at you, and looked at Yu Hua. Yu Hua, Qing, Yu Yi, and Brett, Yi I and Hai. It seemed that he really needed to stuff something in. The outside was already in an uproar. Without the steel, how are we going to enter the city? Some of the guards hurriedly went to report to the city lord. They couldn't make a decision on such a matter. The residence of the city lord was naturally filled with people who had committed heinous crimes. At the inside he said I. The one sitting in the middle was the city lord, Mu Hong. He had the cultivation of a supreme being, but of course he was the lowest kind of supreme being. He had a long beard, but it was not white. Instead, it was black, but his hair was white, giving off a very strange feeling. But he looked young, which made people feel even weirder. The two Meng family and Yi family, Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue. The two were acting like normal people. Recently, I heard of something and wanted to ask the two of you. Mu Hong picked up the teacup beside him, blew on it gently and took a sip. However, his eyes were fixed on the two of them. Yi Fengxue and Meng Binjian looked at each other with doubt in their eyes. City Lord, please ask away. If we know, we will definitely tell you. Yi Fengxue said respectfully. Recently, there is a rumor in the city that pure gold has appeared. I wonder if the two of you have heard of it? Mu Hong asked faintly and put down the teacup in his hand. Meng Binjian cupped his hands and said, City Lord, pure gold is a legendary metal that can be used to create top-notch ancient artifacts. However, it has been lost for a long time. I'm afraid that this news is fake. That's right, I thought that it was fake as well, but the news of pure gold has been spreading more and more fiercely in the city. After all, there's no smoke without fire, don't you think so? Mu Hong observed the two's expressions, but he didn't find any clues. Meng Binjian smiled and said, City Lord, I'm afraid that someone wants to make use of the Heavens Arena to cause trouble. Mu Hong didn't continue asking, the Heavens Arena this time is organized by the two of you. When the time comes, heroes from all over will gather. Don't throw away the face of the vile city. Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue both stood up and shouted respectfully, City Lord, don't worry, we will definitely not disappoint you. Very good. Go back and prepare. Yes. Right at that moment, an imperial god hurriedly ran in. Report to City Lord. Why are you in such a panic? Mu Hong asked gravely. Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue, who were originally going to leave, also stopped their footsteps. The imperial guard said with fear, "City Lord." The stone tablet at the city gate. What happened to the stone tablet? Mu Hong's expression froze. Could it be that there's a problem with the stone tablet? That's impossible. The stone tablet exploded. What? Mu Hong's face was filled with astonishment. That stone tablet actually exploded. Even if I make a move, that stone tablet wouldn't explode. Yi Fengxue and Meng Binjian were both stupefied. That stone tablet could be considered as the facade of the vile city, and it actually exploded today. Doesn't this mean that something bad is going to happen? Who did it? It's a little girl. Her evil index reached 10 stars, and then the stone tablet exploded. After the imperial guard finished speaking, even he himself found it hard to believe, let alone the city lord. Bullshit. A little girl is able to make the stone tablet explode. Just what happened? Mu Hong didn't believe this kind of nonsense. 10 stars and the stone tablet explode. Who are you trying to bluff? The imperial guard was about to pee in his pants. City lord, I don't dare to bluff you. A lot of people saw it. That little girl just touched the stone tablet a bit, and the stone tablet exploded like that. At this moment, Yi Fengxue walked forward and said respectfully, "City Lord, this matter is not a small matter. We need to consider this matter at length." That's right. After a period of time, when heroes from all over enter the city and find out about the stone tablet exploding, I'm afraid that our vile city will become a laughingstock. Meng Binjian echoed along and said. Mu Hong slowly sat down. What those two said is right. We cannot let too many people know about this matter. If not, our face will be gone. That Meridian Break Sect and Shen Academy are already pressuring the vile city from the start, and they will definitely use this matter to attack us. End of this chapter. Chapter 11-12. Really hateful. It must be the work of the spy they sent. After a while, Mu Hong said gravely, "Men, call Xiaofan over." Yes. After a while, a man wearing a ceremonial robe walked over. Lord Father. That's right, this is Xiaofan, the grandpa who always follows him everywhere. When he just arrived, he was teleported to the evil men's city and saw the city master's daughter being assassinated. Xiaofan was righteous. She was beaten half to death. After all, the difference in strength was too big. But that kind of fearless spirit infected the city master's daughter. She was quite touched. Even though he knew that he could not win, he still came to save her. In the end, under this kind of misunderstanding, a subtle change occurred. With the grandpa's encouragement, Xiaofan also pursued her, and the result was naturally a happy ending. However, the only difference between Xiaofan and Qi Shuwen is, one is a bit more pure, the other is unscrupulous for his goal. Mu Hong looked at his son-in-law. Actually, he was against it at the start, but when he thought about how this brat risked his life to save his daughter, he felt that this kind of spirit was good like a man. After a while of persuasion from his daughter, he agreed. Next, Mu Hong realized that this Xiaofan is also a piece of jade. As long as he carved it a little, his future achievements will be limitless. Bring some people to check the situation at the city gate and restore the stone tablet. It doesn't matter if it is useful or not. Mu Hong said gravely. Even if it is fake, it is still a test. Xiaofan still does not know what is going on, so he agreed first and then continued to understand the situation. The two of you, the matter at the heavenly arena is imminent. Be careful. Yes, city master. The two family masters shouted respectfully and then left. After everyone left, Mu Hong let out a sigh of relief. His expression was very grave. On the other side, Xiaofan also brought some people to the city gate. When he found out what happened, he was incomparably shocked. Someone actually destroyed the stone tablet. How is this possible? After coming to the evil men's city for so long, I have never heard of anyone being able to destroy the stone tablet. Furthermore, you told me that it was a child who destroyed it. That is even more unbelievable. Right now, the city gate already prohibited people from entering. The queue outside is already very long, but no one dares to act recklessly. After all, this is the evil men's city. They can only abide by the rules. Yi Zizi did not want to, but Qing Yutong did not allow it, so she pouted her mouth and looked very unhappy. Ran Yao and Yang Haotian waited quietly. They seemed very relaxed. But Yang Haotian realized that there seemed to be a lot of people entering the city. This was a little strange. However, he was too embarrassed to ask. He would know when he entered the city and asked around. The Sky Arena was a grand event that was held only once in 1,000 years. Yang Haotian had only been here for a few hundred years and had never heard of it. It was understandable that he did not know about it. As for the others, they had no idea. Exine Ba and the guards were checking the procession because they heard that the girl just now seemed to be on a carriage. With such a long queue, there were quite a few carriages. Exine Ba immediately checked the first carriage. "Please do me a favor." Exine Ba cupped his hands and said to Ran Yao and Yang Haotian. Exine Ba's attitude was considered good. At least he didn't make people feel disgusted, but Qi Shuwen did. "What do you want?" Yang Haotian asked with a straight face. Exine Ba did not lose his temper and calmly said, "Can you let the people in the carriage out for a moment? They're all women, what's there to look at?" Ran Yao coldly said, "You actually want to look at the big sister? You sure have guts." Right at this moment, Kai Yun suddenly stuck his head out, smiled, and asked, "Who wants to see me?" Exine Ba looked towards the carriage, and when he saw Kai Yun, his entire body stiffened. Was this a hallucination? This person. Isn't she that Wuxia? And I have seen her on television before. This is impossible. Why did she appear here? It's definitely because she looks similar, that must be it. "Bannermaster, don't mess around," Yu Hua said in a low voice, then carried Kai Yun back into the carriage. However, Exine Ba was still able to see Yu Hua's face, and the shock in his heart was like a volcano eruption. How is this possible? Why did they appear here? That South Wuxia and Voidless Realm are in an alliance, and with such a powerful system, they should be able to sweep away everything. That's why they came here to develop. And in the end, just half a year after coming here, you are telling me that those people came here again. I have already come all the way here and you are still chasing after me. Just how big of a hatred do you have? If that Voidless Realms people came too. That man is definitely here, and there's also the Empress. Could it be that those perverts are going to cause trouble here again? Exine Ba, don't panic. Things might not be what you think. The old man inside Exine Ba's body said gravely. Exine Ba didn't want to think about the worst, but he just couldn't help it. "Hey, what are you daydreaming for?" Yang Haotian couldn't help but shout out. This person is actually so silly that he doesn't understand. He is definitely daydreaming. After all, the beauty of these big sisters are all heaven-defying existences, and it is normal for him to be daydreaming. Exine Ba's expression became grave. How would he dare to continue searching around right now? Thus, he directly walked back into the city. This person must have a problem. Yang Haotian said faintly. Just a moment ago, I still wanted to continue looking, but now, I have to leave again. Originally, I still wanted to act cool. After all, there are so many people at the scene, if I don't act cool, I would feel bad, right? With these big sisters here, no matter what I act cool, I will be awesome. Life philosophy, if you are not convinced, then fight. However, very far away behind the crowd, there were 4 people standing there, 2 men and 2 women. The 2 women were very beautiful, causing the people in the group to take a few more glances at them, to the point where they felt that it was not enough to take a few more glances at them. After all, they are beautiful women. Are they well informed? I don't know. There is a rumor that the pure gold is in this city. That is just a rumor, who knows if it is true or false. We will know once we go in and take a look. You idiot, are you feeling uncomfortable if I don't beat you up for a day? Wife, can you not bully me? Alright. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. I guarantee that I will serve you like a big boss. The 2 people who were bickering with each other were naturally Yi Hong and Zi Shan, and the other 2 people were naturally Wei Chong and Tang Wei. Originally, there were 2 groups of people, and in the end, they bumped into each other on the way here. Both of them had rushed over after receiving the news that there was a pure gold. If we are able to get our hands on the pure gold, His Honor might be happy for a bit. I heard that Zhu Tian was called back. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chong said gravely, Zhu Tian was definitely called back to concoct the antidote for His Honor's mother. The situation is not good. Zishan said in a low voice. For his honor to be in such a hurry, something must have definitely happened. That is why we have to find the pure gold for his honor. Yi Hong, who was at the side, raised his fist and had an expression that said that he would not hesitate to die 10,000 times for his honor. However, Zishan immediately slapped her palm towards Yi Hong, and Yi Hong took the opportunity to dodge the palm. End of chapter. Chapter 11-13. Wife, I was wrong, you hit. I shouldn't have dodged at all. If my wife wants to hit me, then I have to stick my head out to be hit. Of course, Zishan did not hold back and patted the back of Yi Hong's head. Wei Chong shook his head. Yi Hong's henpecked behavior was too severe. He was afraid that he would end up with a fool. You should show off your manliness. Zishan, you shouldn't always bully others, Tang Wei said in a low voice. Every day, she would see Zishan bullying her husband. Zishan snorted, as long as you don't get pregnant with my child, I will bully you for another day. Yi Hong looked at Wei Chong. Her meaning was very simple. Help, what does this not have to do with me? Maybe it's because you can't conceive? It's always men's fault. Before I met you, Yi Hong, was a virgin. Although you are also a virgin, a negative can also be a positive, right? Am I right? This is too much of a bully. Take a look at the team, other than his honor, who else has a child? Everyone's situation is the same, and you're still criticizing me? What kind of expression is that? I'm not convinced. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. The more Zishan scolded Yi Hong, the fiercer she became, and she didn't give Yi Hong any face at all. This caused the surrounding people to begin discussing amongst themselves in low voices. Such a beautiful wife, this man actually. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, a man who can't make a woman pregnant, is he still a man? Brother, do you need me to help? The surrounding people were all talking at once. Yi Hong's face was red and she stood at the side without saying a word. Wei Chong couldn't stand it anymore. If a couple quarreled, don't quarrel outside. Men don't care about face outside. Furthermore, you are talking about pregnancy outside, it's really… Zishan, that's enough. Give me some face. Wei Chong said gravely. Zishan snorted, but from the corner of her eyes, she secretly looked towards Yi Hong. You're acting pitiful again. You're acting pitiful even though you're being scolded. Tang Wei felt that if this couple continued to be in a deadlock, they would definitely divorce. He was sure that Yi Hong was the one who initiated the divorce. I remember that back then, Yi Hong had also brought up a divorce once, and it was also because of Zishan's overbearing personality. I'm really afraid that Yi Hong will go berserk again. However, this time, when Yi Hong goes berserk, she might really die. Tang Wei decided to give Zishan a warning. You can't do this to this man. At the very least, you should give Zishan enough face when they are outside. Looking at himself, he wished that he could slap Uncle Wei to death. However, he endured it and decided to wait until they got back. Didn't they say that it would end 100 years earlier? But now, he didn't seem to have done anything about it. We have already been together for 5 to 6 years, and yet, Uncle Wei still doesn't do it. This is making me very annoyed, and sometimes, I really don't want to talk to Uncle Wei anymore. However, behind Wei Chong and the others, there were still a few people. What happened in front? Why is the queue so long? Woof. GGG. Imperial translation. Who knows? Honey, carry it for me to see. Honey, did you see that? I don't see it. I'm stuck in a traffic jam just entering the city. It's really annoying. But this also proves one thing. The pure gold is most likely inside. I have to get the pure gold. That way, I'll be able to account for myself when I return. Mage bro, what do you think? GGG, Imperial translation. I really want to fish. Listen to that, by Yubiubiu sound. This group of people was naturally Death Mage Sun Fong and her husband, as well as LV Liang and the Vampire Sisters. Of course, there was also a husky. Same as Wei Chong, they rushed over after hearing the news about the pure gold. The difference was, one came early, and the other came late. If not, they would have bumped into each other. However, right now, they don't even know of each other's existence. To be precise, all 4 groups of people don't even know of each other's existence. This kind of result is very likely. After all, this evil men's city is very big, and the chances of bumping into each other is a bit small. That would definitely be interesting. Honey, put me down. LV Liang patted onto Serena's shoulder. This big brother Green is quite awesome. He managed to train the vampire sisters to be obedient. Look at how he is being carried by his wife. What kind of spirit is this? Looking at the men at the side, they were all stupefied. You actually ordered such a beautiful woman. You are simply shameless. Serena even took out a tissue and wiped off LV Liang's sweat. Her level of consideration was 10 stars. Luckily, Yi Hong didn't know about this scene. This is the comparison of blood. Although Zishan is a bit prettier than the vampire sisters, and her status is also a bit higher, after all, she is a deity. I, little brother Red, am also a man who slept with a deity. But right now, I, little brother Red, would rather find an ordinary woman. At least, those women are obedient. Won't hit people, won't scold people. Honey is so obedient. Honey, kiss, pout your small mouth. The two sisters pout their lips together. This scene simply made all the men jealous to death. This damned man, to actually act so pretentiously. Sooner or later, I will die on a woman's stomach. Sun Fong, who was at the side, looked at the scene, then took a look at Death Mage, who was wrapped up like a dumpling. Kiss. Damn it, I don't even know what kiss tastes like, let alone XXO. I am simply about to die from anger. Why did I follow a skeleton back then? Did water enter my brain? I can't even experience a woman's happiness. I must be sick. It's moving, the team is finally moving. LV Liang said excitedly. The team is finally moving. With so many people, of course I have to let them pass. Am I supposed to lock all of them outside? That's impossible. However, the part where Wei Chong pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger was cancelled. Wei Chong only pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger, then gave out a few stars symbolically. This caused Wei Chong to suspect whether or not I am an evil person. To think that my evil index is actually 1 star. Wei Chong thought to himself that his honor must have comprehended me. If his honor were to come over and press his finger on Death Mage's finger, I reckon that there wouldn't even be any stars left. However, at the very end of the team, there was a man and a woman. If Xian Ba was able to walk to the end of the team, he would definitely be able to see them. This is also my good brother back then, Qi Shu Win. The woman was naturally Qi Shu Win's wife, Abalone Yu. This time, the two of them came out from Watertown, and their target was also the pure gold. There were spies in Watertown as well. Right now, Qi Shu Win was also a man who possessed a primordial artifact, and this primordial artifact was precisely the primordial artifact that belonged to Abalone Yu's big brother, Bao Pa. Right now, the primordial artifact had fallen into Qi Shu Win's hands as he wished. Qi Shu Win was very happy. Furthermore, he also learned 1 or 2 moves of the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art. It must be said that the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art is indeed a very awesome martial skill. Although I only learned 2 moves of the art, I benefited a lot from it. Husband, they are finally moving. Abalone Yu snuggled into Qi Shu Win's embrace, feeling very blissful. End of chapter. Chapter 11-14. This time, Qi Shu Win's main purpose for coming here wasn't the pure gold. He just wanted to make a name for himself. Although it wasn't a big deal, it was enough to pave the way for him. When I leave the mountain, no. When I leave the sea, there will be people who will remember me and say, "Isn't he that so-and-so from back then?" I didn't expect that he would be so awesome. Back then, I was really blind not to follow him. If I was given another chance back then, even if I had to die, I would hug onto his thigh. This is the feeling that I, Qi Shu Win, want to be such a man. Those who look down on me, will regret it. Trash. Dregs. Get lost. Sooner or later, this world will belong to me, Qi Shu Win. At that time, whoever I, Qi Shu Win, want to die. Whoever it was would die. It was just like the tournament between the North and the South all those years ago. Whoever the Empress wanted to kill, that person would die. That kind of aura, that kind of majesty they would never forget in this lifetime. Husband. She realized that her husband would sometimes fall into such a state, smiling like a fool. Qi Shu Win came back to his senses. Oh, I was just thinking about what our child would be like. You're so annoying, I just got pregnant. It won't be that fast. Abalone said shyly, gently stroking her abdomen. She only found out about her pregnancy a few days ago. She didn't expect it to happen so soon. Qi Shuwen was also a little worried. Sharky, why don't I send you back? I'm worried about you staying here. It's fine. I don't need your protection. I'm quite strong myself. Yeah. Qi Shuwen unhappily scratched onto Abalone's nose. Now that he had become a father, Qi Shuwen's mentality still had a bit of change, but it wasn't that big. A large number of people entered Evil Men's City. At least 90% of them were here for the pure gold. The other half were here to fish in troubled waters. However, it was undeniable that the situation this time was complicated. The entire team was scattered throughout the city, and none of them knew of each other's existence. And Long Outyen would not know that Qing Yutong had come. If he were to see Qing Yutong again, I wonder how Long Outyen would feel. After all, back then, I had also planned to bring Qing Yutong into my harem, but just when I had this terrifying thought, my life changed. That's why I said, don't have any terrifying thoughts, because it will change your fate. Meng family, Long Outyen and the others were all enjoying the food provided by Meng Yi. It was indeed delicious. Every region had their own way of cooking. This was definitely the taste of the southern part of the Kangluo continent, at least that was what Long Outyen and Lord Jiu thought. When Meng Yi saw them wolfing down their food, he was a little startled. How long had it been since they last ate? He was actually starving to this extent. Look at this black-clothed man. He looked very thin and weak, but in the face of such delicious food, he was actually indifferent. No wonder he was so skinny and malnourished. Brother, is the food not to your liking? Meng Yi asked Death Assassin. Long Outyen quickly said, Brother Meng, my big brother has a poor appetite, and he's a mute. He can't speak. Oh, so that's how it is. Meng Yi nodded his head. This kind of expert is actually a mute, fortunately, he is not a cripple. Dad, Mom, this dish is really delicious. Chu Yuxuan said coldly. Right now, they were all talking in the same tone. They didn't even need to adjust their tone. Even a joke could make people want to die. Lord Jiu was helpless. Grandpa, eat more. Lord Jiu, this child is really sensible. Meng Yi smiled faintly. This child is probably 20+ years old, and there is even a little one beside him. Everyone didn't know what to say. This child is just like a child who was pricked by a silver needle. Right now, Meng still smiled and said, This child is quite smart. Thank you for your compliment, Mom. Long Yang was unwilling. Mom, why didn't you compliment me? Yang is also very obedient. He is the most obedient. Mom. Chu Yuxuan was jealous. Long Outyen didn't know what to say anymore. Next time, I must definitely prick him properly. I mustn't fail again. Right at this time, Meng Binjian walked in. Seeing that his son was eating with his friends, Meng Binjian revealed a smile. Everyone, sorry for not greeting you well. Meng Yi hurriedly introduced. Brother Long, this is my father. It's actually the family head. Long Haotian and the others stood up and cupped their hands. Meng Binjian nodded his head. However, when he looked towards the black-clothed man, he actually didn't stand up. He didn't give me any face at all. Long Haotian pulled his son to the side and said in a low voice, Don't bring just anyone into the house, do you understand? Father, that old man, his evilness index is 6-star, and that black-clothed man, I feel that his evilness index is even higher, we can definitely make use of him. Meng Yi wasn't an idiot. He definitely had a motive for doing so. In the city of evilness, there was no good person. Meng Binjian finally understood, so it turns out that his son is actually interested in that black-clothed man and that old man. You can do as you see fit. These few days will be very busy, you have to be careful. Meng Binjian said in a low voice, then smiled towards Long Outyen and the others. Everyone, please enjoy yourselves, I still have things to do, so I won't be accompanying you. Long Outyen felt that this family head is very easy to talk to, and is also very polite. Jiuyi didn't think so. After all, the higher one sits, the clearer one can see things. This Meng Yi looks very shrewd. His father is definitely even more shrewd. Jiuyi picked up a piece of meat and gave it to Xiao Bao, who was at the side, to eat. Xiao Bao was very happy. Xiao Bao's tail kept wagging as he walked back and forth. Brother Long, I'm really sorry. My father has to prepare for the upcoming Sky Arena, so he is very busy. Meng Yi explained. Sky Arena? This caused everyone to be very puzzled. Jiu Yi asked, Young Master Meng, what is the meaning of this Sky Arena? You all are not locals, so you definitely don't know. In our vile city, every 1,000 years, there will be a Sky Arena. That scene is very spectacular. When the time comes, everyone will know about it. Meng Yi said with a faint smile. Long Outyen asked curiously, It can't be that this Sky Arena is just for watching, right? Of course not. It is also a type of sparring. When the time comes, all of the powers in the southern part of Kangluo continent will gather, the more famous Meridian Break Sect, Deity Academy and so on will all come. Long Outyen nodded his head. Seems like it is better to be a bit more low profile. I even wanted to go out and register just now. Meanwhile, Meng Yi thought to himself, aren't you all going to register? Representing the Meng family to go up to the stage. Of course, the representative isn't the only one. As long as the family is willing, they can send countless representatives to go up to the stage. As long as they win, the glory will belong to the representative family. Therefore, having more people go up to fight for the family is also a kind of insurance. Jiu Yi was also pondering, what should I do if I meet people from Meridian Break Sect? I won't be able to win against them. Are there any rewards? Jiu Yi asked. I was just waiting for you to say this. End of chapter. Chapter 11:15. Meng Yi said gravely, I also don't know what the reward this time is. It is very mysterious. But what I can be sure of is that it is a good thing. I, Lord Jiu, will not participate in such matters. When the time comes, I won't even know how I died. There are many experts in this world, and I'm not a match for them. Death Assassin suddenly tapped on the table, causing Long Outyen to be very puzzled. Is Master planning to participate in the competition? Meng Yi rejoiced in his heart. As long as this person participated in the competition, everything would be settled. Brother Long, what does your big brother mean? Meng Yi asked curiously. Long Outyen knew what his master meant. Brother Meng, it's like this. My big brother wants to participate. Do you have any ideas? Are you going to participate? This is simple. I only need to make some arrangements. Just that. Meng Yi was a bit embarrassed. After all, honor was also very important. Lord Jiu asked curiously. But what? I am just representing my Meng family. But the prize still belongs to this big brother. To put it bluntly, I just want a reputation. Brother Long, what do you guys think about this? Meng Yi looked at Death Assassin. This person had concealed himself deeply, and he seemed to be very powerful. They even felt that Black Robe was the kind of person who would kill without batting an eyelid. On this point, Meng Yi had indeed guessed correctly. Death Assassins do not even blink when they kill. Even if they wanted to blink, they would not be able to. Long Outyen wasn't interested in the reputation of this place, but he was interested in the treasures of the competition. He believed that it should be able to sell for a lot of money. At that time, he would be able to give his wife and son a stable life. However, he could only rely on his master for such a matter. His master was so powerful, it shouldn't be a problem for him to become the champion of the Sky Arena. Death Assassin nodded. Meng Yi could understand it without Long Outyen's explanation. Don't worry, big brother. Meng Yi, will definitely get it done. When the time comes, I'll have to rely on you, big brother. Meng Yi cupped his hands and shouted. He appeared to be very low-key, causing Long Outyen and Lord Jiu to have a whole new level of respect for him. Furthermore, this person's eyesight is very sinister. How did he know that within this group of people, the strongest is Death Assassin? Father, I want to take a dump, Chu Yuxuan said seriously. Everyone, Qing Yutong and the others found an inn to rest in. However, the scenery of the vile city was something that everyone was unable to accept. This was especially so for Yi Zizi. In her imagination, the evil men's city would be all red. In the end, she discovered that there was not even a single person fighting. Is this still the evil men's city? This was probably a good city. Along the way, Brett felt itchy all over his body. Please don't misunderstand, it wasn't that kind of itch, it was that kind of itch. Once again, it showed that experts were lonely. They were bored to the point of exploding. 5 women stayed in a guest room, and other than Qing Yutong and Yu Hua, the other 3 women were sighing in despair. Having nothing to do was even more painful than killing them. As for Yi Zizi, when she saw the bustling streets, she wished that she could suck it all in. Back then, there was a time when his honor also entered the city like this. His honor also found an inn. Then, he began to compete with Wei Chong. In the blink of an eye, the originally bustling city became lifeless. That feeling was simply amazing. Yi Zizi had almost forgotten how she felt in the past. She had become a good lowly who could help an old lady cross the road. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door. "Come in." Qing Yutong lightly shouted. Ran Yao and Yang Haotian walked in, and Yang Haotian said respectfully, "Ladies, good news." "What good news?" Brett, who was lying on the bed, asked faintly. "I'm afraid that only Ju Tian would be able to enjoy that sexy body of hers. It's like this, just now, Luden and I were walking around outside, and we heard about a matter." Yang Haotian seemed to be very excited. "To actually be able to encounter such a matter while coming here, I am simply too lucky." Kai Yun couldn't help but say, "You sure talk a lot of nonsense, can't you just say it directly? If you continue to keep me in suspense, I will keep you in suspense. Little brother, speak immediately. Do you know why there are so many people coming to the evil city?" Everyone, seeing that the expressions of the ladies didn't seem to be good, Yang Haotian hurriedly said, "It's like this recently, there is going to be a competition called the Sky Arena, and there will be people from Broken Meridian Sect and Deity Academy coming over to compete for it. There is still a rumor going around in the city that the prize this time is something called gold, and it seems to be a material that can be used to make very powerful ancient divine tools." Competition. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun immediately became spirited, completely not hearing what was said at the back. Even Brett opened his eyes and asked faintly, "Competition? Is it more like fighting?" "That's right. Fighting. I heard that all of the experts in the south will be gathered there." "Fun. Do you want to register? Let's hurry up and register." Yi Zizi was already getting impatient. "I might not be able to do anything else, but fighting is definitely the most awesome." Kai Yun was also rubbing his palms together. "Fight. Let's make Wuxia Empire famous." "This method is feasible, Yutong, don't you think so?" Yu Hua said tenderly. Qing Yutong nodded her head. With everyone's strength, it wouldn't be difficult for them to become the champion. The main thing was how to attract hatred. This way, they would be able to let everyone know about Wuxia Empire. Brother-in-law reckons that these people are planning to gang up on him. At that time they would be able to display their might. This is truly troublesome. And if you want to go and play, then go and register." Qing Yutong said lightly. After all, she wasn't interested in fighting, and she preferred to watch brother-in-law act cool. That would be more interesting. Yu Hua also didn't seem to be interested in fighting. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun definitely wanted to go and fight, and even Brett wanted to loosen up his muscles and bones. Even Ran Yao wanted to go and fight for fun. Most probably, she had been holding it in too long and didn't have the chance to let it out. After the matter was settled, other than Qing Yutong, who was sitting in the living room and feeling bored, everyone else went to play. On the other hand, Wei Chong and Yi Hong had just registered. If they were slightly later, they might be able to meet Yi Zizi, but it seems like they won't be able to meet each other. Yi Hong and Zi Shan both registered for the competition, and Wei Chong also registered for the competition. I reckon that Wei Chong also wanted to play and casually become the champion. Let's see if it's pure gold or not. Tang Wei did not register for the competition. If she could fight, she would really want to beat Wei Chong up. To be more precise, she would want to beat Wei Chong up. "You are a man. I am a woman. Can't we do something that a man and a woman should do?" Ever since Zi Shan flipped out outside, Yi Hong had been remaining silent and not saying anything, giving people a feeling that she was angry. Wei Chong didn't care about Zi Shan. He was naturally standing on little brother Red's side. Zi Shan was indeed too much just now. She should apologize to Yi Hong right now. If Tang Wei is the same, I will definitely break up with her. Who would be able to stand it? This is also because little brother Red has a good temper. He felt that he was lucky to get a wife like Zi Shan. End of chapter. Even Wei Chong felt that this voice was very familiar. It was as if he had heard it somewhere a few years ago. Therefore, the two of them turned around to look. The one who said this was, of course, Qi Shuwen. They found a few inns, but they were all full. It couldn't be helped. This place was simply too popular. Abalone obediently stood beside Qi Shuwen, looking very happy. Qi Shuwen noticed that someone was looking at him, and so he followed along and looked over. But as soon as he took a closer look, he was astonished. That woman. Isn't she the school belle Tang Wei? And that man. Until now, Qi Shuwen still remembered the incident with the heavenly arowana. It was precisely this uncle who appeared and beat up that manager. The last time they met, it should be that banquet. I left first. Logically speaking, I should have brought Tang Wei away back then, but I was afraid. At that time, I wasn't strong enough, so I could only choose to leave by myself. Therefore, when he saw Tang Wei right now, he felt very conflicted in his heart. Qi Shuwen. Tang Wei still took the initiative to call out. Qi Shuwen wanted to pretend that he didn't know Tang Wei to avoid the awkwardness, but since Tang Wei took the initiative to greet him, Qi Shuwen still squeezed out a smile and shouted, "Tang Wei." Seems like Qi Shuwen still doesn't know who Wei Chong is, and only feels that Wei Chong is rather powerful. Wei Chong naturally knows about Qi Shuwen, and he even knows about some of his honors plans. Back then, Wei Chong listed Qi Shuwen and Xian Bar as his opponents, and in the end, he forgot about these two people. I didn't expect that I would actually meet them in another plane today. This is simply a very preposterous thing. This kind of probability is even lower than winning the lottery. This is truly too coincidental. Why are you here? Tang Wei walked down the stairs. After all, she was in a foreign country, and seeing someone from the same hometown, how could she not be excited? Wei Chong followed behind Tang Wei and looked at Qi Shuwen. He discovered that Qi Shuwen's strength had indeed increased by quite a bit, but he is still very far away from what his honor wants. However, I am also very curious if this Qi Shuwen is able to become his honor's opponent. After all, being able to become his honor's opponent is also a kind of honor. Even if I die, I can still go to hell and act cool. After all, my opponent is his honor. That is definitely worthy of being worshipped by others. Abalone Fish tightly held onto Qi Shuwen's arm. This girl in front of me is very beautiful, and they actually know each other. I didn't even know that. Husband, who is she? Abalone Fish asked vigilantly. She is one of my schoolmates. Qi Shuwen said subconsciously. Schoolmate? Abalone Fish was very puzzled. She was also very unfamiliar with this word. Qi Shuwen went into a daze for a moment, then said in a low voice, "She is a junior marshal sister." Hearing what Yihua said, Abalone Fish immediately understood, but she was still very vigilant. Qi Shuwen said with a smile, "This is a long story, Tang Wei, long time no see." That's right, I didn't expect that I would be able to meet you here. It really isn't easy. Who is this? Tang Wei said with a slight smile. Oh, this is my wife. Abalone Fish. Hello. Abalone Fish called out tenderly. Her heart also loosened up a bit. Looking at the situation, their relationship seems to be normal. Wei Chong stood at the back and didn't say anything, but his expression seemed to be a bit bad, and he seemed to be a bit jealous. After all, he was a man, and seeing his woman being so passionate towards another man, it was only natural that he would have a bit of a strange feeling. Aren't you going to go and persuade others? Wei Chong said faintly. If Qi Shuwen were to see Zishan, he would definitely be able to recognize her. Back then, during the North and South martial arts competition, Zishan descended from the sky and was worshipped by everyone. In the end, when Qi Shuwen found out that Zishan was actually one of the Empress's people, everyone was shocked. How could Qi Shuwen possibly forget about Zishan? However, Zishan had already gone upstairs. If not, Qi Shuwen would be shocked to the point that his jaw would drop onto the ground again. It seems like no matter where I go, I will be able to bump into that group of people. Is there even a way out for me? When Tang Wei heard Wei Chang's words, she went into a daze for a moment. And Qi Shuwen could clearly feel a bit of jealousy. That's right, I still have things to do. I won't be chatting with you first. Tang Wei came back to her senses. I didn't expect that Uncle Wei would also have a time where he would be jealous. This is so cute. I thought that Uncle Wei didn't care about me at all. Haha. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:17. Qi Shuwen originally felt awkward, and it was best for Tang Wei to leave now. All right. Tang Wei turned around and held onto Wei Chang's arm, then said in a low voice, Uncle Wei, what's wrong? Are you jealous? Hee hee. Wei Chang laughed dryly. Would I, Wei Chang, be jealous? That doesn't exist. Qi Shuwen let out a sigh of relief. I finally asked for a room here, then went upstairs to rest with abalone. Tang Wei first went to Zishan's room, while Wei Chang went to Yi Hong's room. Tang Wei went to persuade Zishan not to be so overbearing, while Wei Chang went to teach Yi Hong not to be afraid of women. Women are nothing. If you don't listen to me, I'll beat you up. Seriously, what is there for us men to be afraid of? Coming to Yi Hong's room, Wei Chang saw that Yi Hong was in a daze. It wasn't easy for Yi Hong to develop to where she is now. Her marriage was arranged by his honor, but I didn't expect that she would be a fierce wife. What a tragedy. Uncle Wei. Seeing that Wei Chang came in, Yi Hong hurriedly stood up and greeted. Wei Chang nodded his head and sat opposite to Yi Hong. Yi Hong knew why Uncle Wei came over, but just now when she was outside the city, she really didn't know what kind of feeling she had. She loved Zishan very much, and she wanted to give her the best, which was why she was willing to be controlled by Zishan. But as time passed, and with Zishan not being able to conceive a child, she became more and more irritable. Back then, Yi Hong even comforted herself that it might be menopause, which was why she gave in to Zishan. And just like that, she gave in to Zishan for a few years, and not only did she not get better, she became even worse. Sometimes, I feel that I don't even dare to return home. Because when I return home, I only hear Zishan scolding me, as if in Zishan's eyes, I'm nothing. To put it bluntly, I'm just a trash. Yi Hong, what do you plan to do? Wei Chang asked lightly. Yi Hong shook her head and said confusedly, Uncle Wei, I don't know what to do either. If you really can't hold on, then just leave. I'll talk to His Honor. His Honor will understand. Wei Chang didn't want to persuade Yi Hongli, but he couldn't stand it anymore. They didn't live together in the past, but they had been living in the palace for the past few months. Everyone in the team knew that Yi Hong was almost unable to take care of herself after being scolded by Zishan. She thought that they were a couple and did not want to get involved, but Yi Hong was with LV Tao every day and did not dare to go home at night. Wei Chang knew about this. The reason why he was persuading her today was because of what happened outside the city. How could a woman not give him face and still stay for the new year? When Yi Hong heard Wei Chang's words, her emotions did not fluctuate much. It was as if she had considered this question before. Uncle Wei, do you also think that Zishan and I are not suitable for each other? Yi Hong raised his head and looked at Wei Chang, and his gaze was filled with helplessness. He had thought of all kinds of methods, hoping to become the man in Zishan's eyes, yet he still didn't succeed. Wei Chang said gravely, to be honest, Zishan isn't worthy of you. You are the person with the best temper that I have ever seen. If something like that happened to His Honor, I'm afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it anymore. From the looks of it, Wei Chang understood Yi Hua quite well. Yi Hua didn't like rude and unreasonable women, and Zishan was exactly such a woman. Uncle Wei, in actuality, I also didn't want to end up like this with Zishan. After all, it wasn't easy for us to get together, and I also don't want to give up on this relationship. However, today's matter, Uncle Wei. I am also a man, and I also have my own dignity. At home, it's fine for Zishan to scold me in front of all of you, because all of you are family. However, I didn't expect that Zishan would also scold me like that outside. I really have had enough of it. Yi Hong slowly said out her true thoughts. When men think about problems, they are all rational, while when women think about problems in this aspect, they are all emotional. Perhaps, even Zishan wouldn't have thought that Yi Hong had actually thought about divorce countless of times in her heart, but every time, she felt that she shouldn't do this. After hearing what Yi Hong said, Wei Chang patted onto Yi Hong's shoulder. How about this? You should think about it properly during these few days. After this matter is over and you have thought about it clearly, tell me about it. I will bring you to meet His Honor. Thank you, Uncle Wei. I have caused you and His Honor to worry. Yi Hong felt very apologetic. Wei Chang said with a slight smile, our group is just like a big family, we should take care of each other. Yi Hong nodded her head with a smile. Yi Hong felt warmth. It has been a long time since I have felt this kind of warmth from Xiaofan. In the room that was at the side, Tang Wei was persuading Xiaofan. However, Xiaofan still had a righteous look on her face. Tang Wei, do you think that I am wrong? I just want to have a child. Is there anything wrong with me? Then, Yi Hong isn't wrong either. Regarding the matter of having a child, everyone is thinking of ways to have a child. You can't just blame the matter of not being able to have a child on Yi Hong's head. Tang Wei persuaded attentively. Xiaofan sat on the ground while panting with rage, then poured herself a glass of water and drank it in one gulp. Furthermore, just now, you insulted Yi Hong in front of outsiders. You shouldn't have done that. Tang Wei said in a deep voice. As a woman, Xiaofan had to know when to stop. Chapter 11-18. Only Yi Hong would be like this, enduring Xiaofan's anger every single day. What else can we do if we don't divorce? Are we going to keep wasting time like this? Doesn't Xiaofan want to have a child? Just let her find a man who can give birth to a child. Seriously. Wei Chong was also angry, and his words were filled with a lot of anger. Tang Wei was very helpless. From a woman's point of view, Xiaofan was actually quite pitiful. It was just that Xiaofan was a bit unable to control her temper. However, from a man's point of view, a woman like Xiaofan was just being unreasonable. Meanwhile, in another inn in the city, Big Brother Green probably didn't know that his little brother was already thinking about divorce. But this time, LV Tao might respect Yi Hong's decision. In the past few months, she could tell that her little brother didn't dare to return home. He dragged her along every day and sometimes even spent the night in her bedroom. Although she didn't say it out loud, she still knew something. Seeing that her younger brother was living such a difficult life, she might as well leave him. That way, everyone would be better off. Master Mage, why aren't you participating this time? There are 5 of us and I'm the only one participating. Wouldn't it be unsafe? LV Liang said worriedly. She had also signed up earlier, just that she did not expect that Death Mage would actually not sign up this time around. GGG. Imperial translation. You alone are enough. If you really can't do it, we'll just snatch him. LV Shu looked directly at Sun Fong. What did the mage just say? Please translate. It just said that it has been having diarrhea recently, said Sun Fong helplessly. The Blood Clan sisters were very curious as to how the skeleton got diarrhea. Death Mage stretched out his hand and knocked on Sun Fong's head, causing the latter to snort. In actuality, Sun Fong also had a small temper, but she was able to control it very well. After so many years, she had been living very well with Death Mage. In fact, Sun Fong was even more miserable than Xiaofan. At least, Xiaofan was still able to enjoy the feeling of being a woman, but Sun Fong was not able to enjoy it at all. But I didn't scold Death Mage at all. There were some small quarrels, but they were all quarrels that were like flirting. Just like the teasing just now. Why don't the 2 of you sign up? That way I can have less pressure. It would be great if dogs could sign up too. LV Liang looked at Yun Lang, who was at the side. She had wanted to help Yun Lang register, but in the end, someone said that mutated races and dogs were not allowed to register. Yun Lang was very disappointed. My dog doesn't want face. LV Shu, you can do it. I have faith in you, the Blood Tribe sisters kissed each of them, and LV Shu immediately felt full of energy. It seemed like Yi Hong was the most pitiful man in the team. The other women simply supported their man unconditionally and did not ask for anything. I heard that there are some experts. I wonder how strong they are. LV Liang muttered. After all, LV Liang had heard that the reward this time was pure gold, and his honor needed a material, so he mustn't fail. Therefore, LV Liang appeared to be very serious, and he mustn't let his guard down. Sun Fong smiled and said, Don't worry. If it really is pure gold, we'll just snatch it when the time comes. With Lord Spellcaster around, what do we have to fear? Haha, that's true. Master Mage, we're counting on you. LV Liang cupped his hands. The others were instantly amused by LV Liang's amusing expression. Yun Lang lay at the side and sighed deeply. USH*T shoveling officials. I, Era, also want my face. In the City Lord's mansion, Xianba still hadn't calmed down. He thought that he had run all the way here. I definitely won't be able to see those people for the rest of my life. I can properly train, but it seems like the heavens are playing a joke on me. In the end, I still ended up seeing them today. If they were to appear here, then the Empress and that man would definitely be here as well. Why is it like this? Husband, what's wrong today? A tall and slender woman could be seen walking into the mansion with a smile on her face. Her appearance was dignified, and although she didn't have a peerless appearance, she was still a unique beauty. Furthermore, she was also the city lord's daughter, and her status was also extraordinary. Mu Lin. Xianba called out lightly and squeezed out a trace of a smile. Mu Lin walked to Xianba and stretched out her hand, then massaged Xianba's temples with her slender fingers. Husband, why are you so worried today? Is it still because of the matter regarding the stone tablet? I have already heard about the matter from father, perhaps. It might just be an accident. Xianba really wanted to share the matter that was in his heart with others. To be more precise, he wanted to find someone to complain about it to. And perhaps, Xianba still didn't say anything. You seem to have something on your mind. Mu Lin laughed lightly and hugged onto Xianba from behind. I really can't hide anything from you. Xianba laughed. Compared to before, he had indeed matured quite a bit. Is it because of the Sky Arena this time? A bit. After all, this is a grand competition, and it also concerns the reputation of Evil Men City. Right now, the stone tablet has already cracked before it has even started. I don't know what will happen next. Don't worry too much. Although this is Evil Men City, there aren't many who would actually dare to make a move. Mu Lin's words were not wrong. Before making a move, one would have to know how much strength they had. After all, the moment they killed someone, someone behind them would stab them in the back. The gains did not make up for the losses. Chapter 11:19. Make way, make way. At this moment, a light shout came from afar. The crowd on the road was scattered on both sides, and a group of people was slowly entering the city. Yo, what kind of person is this? Yang Haotian raised his head and looked over. When he saw the iconic sword, he knew who it was. It was the Meridian Breaking Sect. Yang Haotian, who are these people? Brett asked calmly. Big sis, these are the people of Meridian Break Sect. But by the looks of it, I'm afraid that even the Grandmaster is here. Yang Haotian whispered. To think that even the Grandmaster would be here. That was enough to tell how important this matter was. Kai Yun looked at the approaching group and asked curiously, is this Meridian Breaking sect leader very powerful? Yang Haotian chuckled and said, no matter how powerful he is, he's not as powerful as you big sisters. You can poke him to death with just a finger. Is that so? Why don't you go and poke him? Yi Zizi said softly. Yang Haotian's heart was filled with bitterness. He tried to please her. Big sister, little brother's strength is not good enough. I really don't dare to poke. What are you afraid of? I will protect you. Yi Zizi snorted. Yang Haotian dared to guarantee that if he were to poke it, he would definitely die. He wouldn't fall for it. Big sister, I'm joking, I'm joking. Yang Haotian instantly admitted defeat. Ran Yao said in a low voice. Coward. Yang Haotian had nothing to say and could only admit defeat. The crowd standing at the side had respectful looks on their faces as they discussed in low voices. The people from Meridian Break Sect are indeed not ordinary. This aura. The person inside the palanquin should be the sect master, right? It should be Supreme Everlasting Sorrow. I wonder if deity institution's autarch Taiha will appear. Aren't you just spouting nonsense? Even Paragon Everlasting Hatred has appeared. So there's no way Paragon Taiha will be here as well. Yeah, the scale this time is really huge. By the way, have you heard? Today, in a small workshop in the south of the city, there is news of pure gold. TSK. I already knew about this kind of secret information. It really is a secret. Yu Hua and the others who were standing next to them all heard it. Yang Haotian immediately said, Big sister, I just heard a secret. We all heard the secret. Oh. The corner of Ran Yao's mouth twitched slightly. This city of villains is truly interesting. The meridian-breaking sect was very ostentatious. Although there were only a few thousand people here, each of them had terrifying strength. The weakest among them was a spirit king, and the strongest was naturally the sect master, Everlasting Hatred. In previous years, the Meridian Break sect had never participated in the Sky Arena. Perhaps it was because they had heard about pure gold that they had come. In order to demonstrate the strength of the sect, of course, they had to be pulled out and trained. Perhaps it was because the Heaven Arena had spread the news of the pure gold, but what had originally been a matter of Evil Men City had turned into a huge matter for the entire southern region of the Kangluo continent. Everlasting Hatred knew that the Divine Academy would definitely come this time, so he gave up on keeping a low profile. After all, when it was time to show the strength of the sect, he couldn't let his guard down. He had to let the whole Kangluo continent know that the Meridian Break sect was the strongest. Everything else was trash. Everyone present could feel this imposing aura. The aura emitted by everyone from the Meridian Break sect was enough to make one's hair stand on end. They could only lower their heads in respect. Looking at the people of the Meridian Breaking sect, they raised their heads slightly. If they could, they would take the step of not even recognizing their own family. Especially when they looked at the gazes of the people around them, that kind of disdain truly permeated into their bones. Looking down on them. These trash dares to be mentioned in the same breath as my Meridian Break sect? In this world, only the Divine Academy can be compared to my Meridian Break sect. Right now, Kai Yun was a bit unhappy as he said faintly, "I really want to kill these people, they are even more arrogant than us." Brett said gravely, "I have seen many arrogant people, but it is still rare to see someone this arrogant." Sigh, thinking about the past. "Don't think about it, don't think about it, don't dare to think about it." Yi Zizi shook her head, looking as if she had aged prematurely. With a gentle smile, Yu Hua stroked Kai Yun's hair. "Flagmaster, don't take this kind of trash to heart. It is precisely because they are trash that I am unhappy. If it was an expert, I would still be able to understand, but I really don't know who gave them the courage." Ran Yao was able to understand the thoughts of these big sisters. Thinking back to that day, "I was such a peerless talent. I wanted to make a shocking scene the moment I appeared. In the end, I didn't get to show off, and instead got F***ed. This was a lesson learned in blood. If the heavens were to give me another chance, I would definitely oversleep that day. At the very least, I would only appear after these women left. I regret what I did in the past, I regret what I did in the past." However, right at this moment, a clamor could be heard coming from afar. Everyone raised their heads and looked towards the horizon. A warship could be seen appearing in the horizon, and the warship was slowly sailing over. From that unique symbol, it could be seen that the warship belonged to the Divine Academy. Right now, even the people from Meridian Break sect stopped in their tracks. When they saw the symbol of the Divine Academy, their gazes carried deep hostility. Even Chong Hen looked towards the horizon, thinking to himself that this Tai he is even fiercer than me. To even bring out this star warship, he is simply flaunting his strength. Shameless fellow, if I had known earlier, I would have taken out my warship to flaunt as well. My God! That is a star warship. The most valiant warship in history. I heard that it is able to withstand an attack from a supreme. It is so valiant. That's right, it is simply so terrifying. Weakly asking, just who is this sea? Everyone. The Divine Academy's warship directly stopped at the entrance of the city. Taihe could be seen being the first to walk down from the warship. He was dressed in an ordinary long gown, showing off the simplicity of a supreme. The entire team slowly appeared. There were no palanquins. Taihe walked in just like that, giving off a kind of amiability, while Chong Hen was the exact opposite. Meridian Break Sect's team didn't move forward, seemingly waiting for the Divine Academy. Another bunch of pretentious brats. Why can't I take it anymore? Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Brett, who was familiar with Yi Zizi, knew that this flat-chested girl was very angry, and it seemed like she was about to explode. It's fine if she explodes. Let the heavenly arena battle begin first, and let's kill all of them first. Leave those two supreme to me. I'll let you suck those little spicy chicks. Kai Yun said angrily. Why doesn't His Honor come and act cool? This is a great opportunity. Act tough. King Yi was currently extremely busy, and he didn't have the mood to come and act cool. Even if he knew, he wouldn't want to come. After all, Compared to acting cool, his mother's illness was more important. Yuhua said lightly, "Flag Master, could it be that you still don't understand His Honor's intentions? His Honor wants to trick all of these people into coming to his territory, then show off his formidable strength." "Is that so?" "Yuhua, I'm still young, don't lie to me." Brett held onto his forehead slightly. Yi Zizi is wearing a suit and has big breasts, acting young. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:20. Kai Yun was probably the oldest in the entire team. He was at least several 100,000 years old. How dare he say that he's still young? I almost puked out my breakfast. Ran Yao was rather curious about who exactly is this His Honor that they are talking about. To be able to make these perverts bow down to him, he must definitely be an even bigger pervert. Just thinking about it made my entire body tremble. I have to find a chance to run away. If I don't run away now, I won't be able to run away anymore in the future. But could he escape? He couldn't run away at all. Who asked him to step on his eyes and turn them into fried eggs? He regretted it so much that his intestines curled up. Why did the heavens treat him like this? Deity Institutions Group gradually caught up to Broken Meridian sect. Meanwhile, Taihe stood next to the palanquin, saying with a light laugh, "Everlasting hatred, what is going on today? Did you get rheumatism? Do we still need to carry it?" Everyone was stunned when they heard the dean's words. They couldn't help but let out a gasp. "I'm sorry. I really can't hold it in anymore." He didn't expect the renowned dean of the divine institution, Supreme Taihe, to be so humorous. Only this sovereign would dare to speak to Chong Hen like this. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be sent flying with a slap. "Taihe, pay attention to your status," Eternal Hatred, who was sitting in the palanquin, said in a deep voice. This fellow really had no filter on his mouth. For better or for worse, you are still Deity Institution's principal. Yet you speak these words in public, don't you feel embarrassed? Yi Zizi and the others thought highly of this Taihe. For these people who like to show off to each other, this was how it should be. This was not rheumatism. This was leg cancer. He didn't even want to take a few more steps. Taihe chuckled, "Supreme Everlasting Hatred. My identity is the same as everyone else's. I am a member of the Kangluo continent, and I am here to nurture more warriors for the Kangluo continent." Hearing this, the people standing in the 2 rows around them were stunned, and then there was a warm applause. The Meridian Break sect was indeed very strong. Everyone wanted to enter the Meridian Break sect to learn. However, the people who came out of the Meridian Break sect were all arrogant and looked down on others. Thus, the reputation of the Meridian Breaking sect was a little problematic. However, the Meridian Breaking sect still had a sovereign overseeing it. Even though the reputation of the sect was bad, there were still many people who wanted to enter it. Deity Institution's reputation was much better, mainly because of the good publicity. Just like right now, Taihe's actions received this type of applause. Compared to when the Heaven Arena ended, Deity Institution's reputation would rise another level. Chong Hen, who was sitting in the palanquin, gnashed his teeth in anger. This damned hypocrite was playing this vulgar trick again. He was simply shameless. People of the fake Dao despise such sanctimonious people the most. Go! Lonesome Hatred couldn't be bothered to talk to this person. He was simply ruining his mood. He had thought that things would be better because of the Water City incident, but in the end, he was still the same as before. Hypocritical. Trash. The Meridian Breaking Sect's team headed towards the City Lord's mansion once again. Taihe cupped his hands at the crowd. He was very low-key, and this low-key behavior was recognized by everyone. If he was still hesitating, then he made his decision right now. He had to go to Deity Institution. The tone of this Meridian Break sect is too high. I can't afford to offend them. I can't afford to offend them. Supreme Everlasting Hatred, why are you leaving so quickly? Wait up for me. You know, people really care about their face. Taihe couldn't help but say a few words. I feel very great. Eternal Hatred, you have suffered a setback this time, right? Who asked you to act cool? The 2 groups headed towards the City Lord residence. After all, since they came to the evil city, they still had to pay a visit. No matter what, he was still a powerful supreme being, the type that could destroy the world. After the 2 groups left, Everyone was still discussing spiritedly. Deity institution was still the better choice between two powerful sections. However, there were still some people who felt that Meridian Break sect was powerful. Just based on that imposing manner just now, if they were able to join Meridian Break sect, they would be able to hold their heads high. They are all hypocrites, Brett said faintly. Soon after, he walked towards the tavern. Yi Zizi let out a heavy sigh. This is so boring. When is his honor going to turn evil and bring us subordinates to sweep across all planes and turn the world upside down? Just thinking about it makes me feel extremely excited. However, how could his honor turn evil? Right now, everything is already a benevolent policy. Say, let's go, let's go. We will kill again when the competition starts. Kai Yun placed both of his hands behind his head and walked forward. Just like Yi Zizi, he seemed extremely bored. These two people's acting cool was not worth watching at all. Inside the city lord's residence, Mu Hong had already received the news that the two supreme beings had arrived, and he had already made preparations to receive them. Mu Hong saw the two figures walking over from far away. Mu Hong walked up and greeted them with a smile. Supreme Chong Hen, Supreme Tai He, your arrival has brought light to my humble abode. Supreme Mu Hong is being too courteous. Please rise. Tai He laughed lightly. Mu Hong went into a daze. What do you mean by please rise? I am standing while talking to you. Do you think that I am kneeling while talking to you? However, when the people outside the city lord's residence heard it, the city lord actually kneeled down. My God! Is deity institutions Tai He that powerful? Even the city lord has to kneel down to receive them. This is incredible. My apologies, it was a slip of the tongue. A slip of the tongue. Tai He said in a low voice. Chong Hen, who was at the side, had a look of disdain on his face. You only know how to take advantage of these small things, how useless. Right now, Mu Hong almost wanted to make a move. This bastard. I came to receive you respectfully with good intentions. Yet you are taking advantage of me. That sentence at the beginning, that sentence was said so loudly. And now, that sentence was said so softly. This deity institution's dean is truly trash. It is still Chong Hen who is at the side that looks more pleasing to the eye. The two of you, please come in and take a seat. Mu Hong didn't have a good expression on his face. You are already stepping on my face. Could it be that I still have to welcome you with a smile? That's impossible. After finished speaking, Mu Hong directly walked into the main hall by himself. Chong Hen said gravely, no matter what, this is someone else's territory, give them some face. This face, we have to earn it ourselves. What do you think, Chong Hen? Tai He laughed lightly, then walked into the main hall. Hearing that, Chong Hen snorted lightly, then walked into the main hall. Serve the tea. Mu Hong shouted gravely. Right now, his good mood was completely gone. Chong Hen and Tai He sat at the side of Mu Hong, and Chong Hen asked, Supreme Mu Hong, coming to your vile city today, I don't feel like what I imagined. Then, what did Supreme Chong Hen imagine? Mu Hong asked faintly. Vile city, of course it's going to be filled with blood and flesh. Tai He added another sentence. Barbarian land, am I right, Supreme Chong Hen? Supreme Tai He, do you have any prejudice against me? If you do, please say it out loud. Mu Hong said gravely. You are looking down on me too much. Do you think that my vile city is afraid of your deity institution? Tai He smiled faintly. Seems like Supreme Mu Hong must have misunderstood something. How could I have any prejudice against you? It's good that you don't. Mu Hong said coldly. If Tai He continued to be arrogant just now, then I really wouldn't be able to hold myself back from making a move. This is too much of a bully. Who do you think you are? Don't forget. End of this chapter. Chapter 1121. This was the wicked city. By the way, Supreme Mu Hong, why don't we use the stone steel outside the city? Isn't this the symbol of the wicked city? Tai He asked again, purposely poking at other sore spots. Mu Hong's heart ached. This symbol would probably be gone in the future. There have been a lot of people entering the city recently, so it's temporarily closed, Mu Hong said indifferently. This explanation made sense, so everlasting hatred and Tai He didn't say anything. If they knew the stone steel was useless, they would definitely tease him. It couldn't be helped. At this stage, it was hard to determine a winner unless it was a matter of life and death. They could only enjoy themselves with words. After a long silence, Everlasting Hatred asked, Supreme Mu Hong, I heard that the Sky Arena will use pure gold as the reward this time. Is this true? Mu Hong knew that these people were here for the pure gold. Otherwise, why would they go through so much trouble? Supreme Everlasting Hatred. I'm not very sure about this either. It's spreading everywhere in the city, Mu Hong said indifferently. Mu Hong said faintly, I still want to obtain the pure gold. If I had accurate information, would I still be able to spread it? Everlasting Hatred didn't say anything. Those who could cultivate to the supreme level were all very cunning. If there was accurate information, they would have taken it for themselves long ago. It seemed that they really didn't know. It seems that the Sky Arena will be a little risky this time, Taihe said indifferently. He didn't actually plan to participate this time. After all, he was the dean. Participating in the competition was a little degrading. Fighting with some juniors? He couldn't afford to lose that face. Mu Hong said in a deep voice, The Sky Arena this time is indeed risky. I'm afraid some hidden experts will participate in the competition. By then, there will definitely be trouble. The appearance of the pure gold will be like a raging storm. After all, the pure gold is just a material, but it can probably only be used to refine one weapon. How are we going to split it? Taihe said what the others were thinking. If they wanted to form an alliance, how would they split the pure gold? Everlasting Hatred and Mu Hong didn't say anything. This was indeed a little troublesome. Let's rely on our own abilities. Mu Hong said softly. Perhaps this was the best solution. I like it. Taihe was the first to agree. Everlasting Hatred nodded as well. The three of them knew that if the pure gold appeared, there would definitely be people fighting for it. Then they could justifiably stop them and take it. The two of you, your rooms have been prepared. After such a long journey, you need to rest more. Many thanks, Sovereign Mu Hong. The two of them replied softly before heading off to rest. Looking at the two of them leaving, Mu Hong really wanted to find a chance to kill them. Do you want to do a live broadcast of this? Xiaotang, why does your complexion look so bad? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take your pulse. Wei Chong had a worried look on his face, and when Tang Wei saw Wei Chang's expression, she felt despair in her heart. Uncle Wei. Anne? I want to give birth to a child with you. After hearing that, Wei Chong let out a light sigh. Xiaotang, you are still young right now. If you want a child, we can always have another child in the future. Furthermore, in the entire team, other than his honor, no one else has given birth to a child. Let's wait a little longer. Tang Wei nearly fainted from anger. If Yi Hong is the most miserable man in the team, then I, Tang Wei, will be the most miserable woman in the team. Uncle Wei, I will make it clear today. I don't want a child, I want to enjoy the process of giving birth to a child. After hearing that, Wei Chong was immediately startled. Looking at Uncle Wei's shocked expression, Tang Wei felt that Wei Chong finally understood what he wanted this time. This is truly not easy. Do you still have to make it so clear? I am a girl, this is already enough. Girls don't want face. However, Tang Wei was about to fall into despair soon. Wei Chong could be heard saying gravely, Xiaotang, if you want to experience the process of giving birth to a child, the prerequisite is that you have to be pregnant. Furthermore, the process of giving birth to a child is very painful. Back then, when your wife gave birth to a child, your wife almost lost her life. This is something that you also know. Right now, Tang Wei felt that the world was spinning. Heavens, can't you send down a bolt of lightning to strike Uncle Wei? It's normal. End of this chapter. Chapter 1122. Am I, Tang Wei, not sexy? If you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, 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 If you wanted to be BG was talking about the process of wanting to have a child, but Uncle Wei was talking about the process of giving birth. Oh my god! What's wrong, Lil Tang? Did you catch a cold? Seeing that Tang Wei was about to faint, Wei Chong hurriedly held on to her. Tang Wei didn't want to talk anymore. She covered her forehead and said, Uncle Wei, let me calm down. I'm afraid that I might accidentally hurt you. Don't worry, Lil Tang. Uncle Wei is very powerful. You won't be able to hurt me by accident. Puff. Tang Wei felt that blood was coming out from her chest. Your sister. Oh God, Tang Wei, will never be able to enjoy the pleasure of being a woman in my entire life. Wei Chong looked at Tang Wei, who was in his embrace. He really couldn't bear to see her so worried at such a young age. She actually wanted to enjoy the process of giving birth. Was giving birth enjoyable? Tang Bingyao was still a university student, so he did not even have this bit of common sense. Sigh. He was afraid that Tang Bingyao would get depressed in the future. Tang Wei wanted to say that even if she became depressed in the future, it would be because of Uncle Wei. Meanwhile, in another inn, LV Shu also received the information from Xiao Air. These attendants were probably members of the intelligence organization, responsible for distributing information to clients. In fact, this was one of the benefits of the inn, a method to attract customers. It was just that Wei Chong and the others did not know about it. Tonight, a small workshop in the south of the city. LV Shu clapped her hands. He was very excited. Pure gold. If I can get my hands on the pure gold and pass it to His Honor. It was as if they could hear His Honor announcing to everyone right now. LV Liang, you did well this time, I want to praise you. Wow, this is simply the peak of life, the climax of life. Look at my boss, Uncle Wei. It is very rare for him to be praised by His Honor. If I am able to be praised by His Honor this time around, I will definitely become the envy of everyone. So cool. So cool. In order to get praise, he would stop at nothing. Wifey, don't go, it's too dangerous. Lulu said in a deep voice. Presumably, the two groups of people trading today were all experts. If they were to fight, the situation would be complicated, and he wouldn't be able to take care of them. The vampire sisters were very sensible. They completely obeyed LV Liang's instructions and struck wherever she pointed. Master Mage, why don't we go and show off tonight? Sun Fong rubbed against Death Mage's shoulder and twitched her eyebrows. LV Liang blushed with shame. Sister-in-law really knows how to tease a mage, so showy. If there was a hierarchy, sister-in-law would definitely be the god of show. GGG, Imperial Translation. I am a demon, not Xiao-er. Hubby, if we go tonight, we will definitely be in danger. We must act in secret and not expose ourselves too early. LV Lu nodded. Her wife was right. Very few people would know about such a secret, so they had to plan their robbery carefully. Hubby, you have to wear black clothes at night so that you can hide in the dark. Wow, my wife, you're so smart. Even black clothes can't hide my green hair. LV Liang touched her hair. It was hard. It was obvious that she had used too much hair gel. Yun Lang laid on the ground and was dispirited. In the future, he had to do something to make the sh*t shoveling officers more active. In the Meng family. Right now, Long Outyen had also received the news and was currently discussing with Zhou Yi whether or not they should go to the small workshop in the south of the city to do something. Outyen, it is better to be careful about this matter. Old ginger is spicier. Zhou Yi had been around for a very long time. This kind of information was not reliable. Long Outyen rubbed his forehead. It would be great if teacher were to personally take action, but teacher doesn't seem to have any feelings towards this matter. Outyen, what do you plan to do? Long Outyen pondered for a long time, then said in a low voice, Zhou Yi, how about we go and take a look at tonight? If there's a chance, we will make our move. If there's no chance, we will just forget about it? That's fine. Let's first see how strong the person who is making the transaction is. Zhou Yi said gravely. Long Outyen nodded his head. Since it is a secret report, if I and Zhou Yi go secretly, we shouldn't be discovered. Grandpa. Daddy. I will go and protect you too. Chu Yuxuan appeared out of nowhere and said with a cold tone. Zhou Yi took a look at Long Outyen. What he meant was very simple. When are you going to finish poking the other party? It won't do if you continue like this. Long Outyen also gave Zhou Yi a look. Don't worry, I will definitely finish poking the other party next time. Go and play with little brother. Little brother doesn't want to play with me. Chu Yuxuan said faintly. Long Outyen and Jiao Yi didn't want to talk to Chu Yuxuan anymore. This is simply a torture. Go and play outside. Don't disturb me and Grandpa's discussion. All right, Daddy. Grandpa, the two people, Jiao Yi suddenly said in a low voice. Will that set of acupuncture technique of yours be able to stab someone to death? There is a certain probability of it happening. How much? 50%. Jiao Yi was dumbstruck. To still not die even after that, this fellow's luck is not just ordinary. The demon city was slowly enveloped by the curtain of night, and because the number of people in the streets increased explosively, it seemed to be extraordinarily bustling. However, along with the arrival of night, the bustling scene gradually faded away. Especially at the south of the city, it was so cold that it made one's hair stand on end, as if something bad was going to happen very soon. Right now, Qing Yutong was currently looking at Yi Zizi and Kai Yun, who were wearing nocturnal clothing. Using their words, if they were to wear the nocturnal clothing, no one would be able to see them at night. Mother Kerr, are you trying to bluff a 3-year-old child? Aya, it fits too well. Yang Haotian immediately praised, because he was the one who suggested it, and he didn't expect that the two big sisters would actually agree to it. This is a good start. Who knows, Yi Zizi might even let me touch her butt, and if that happens, I would be able to get what I wanted. Yi Zizi's symbolic ponytail was already wrapped within a black cloth, and her face was also covered, only revealing a little bit of her eyes. Yi Zizi had no idea who she was. Kai Yun, who was at the side, was the same. While leaning on the side, Brett said faintly, even if you stuff more, it won't change the fact that you are a flat-chested girl. Big-chested girl, say that one more time, I'll suck you to death. Brett pouted his mouth and leaned on the door. Looking towards the direction of Voidless Realm, he was currently thinking about Zhu Tian. I wonder what Zhu Tian is currently doing. I reckon that he is currently nuzzling those two women on the bed. When I return this time, I definitely have to properly reward Zhu Tian, at least 1 month. It's getting late. If you want to go, then go, don't make the matter too big. Qing Yutong warned in a low voice. These two are the ones who are causing trouble. Yu Hua, who was at the side, warned. Bannermaster, when I'm not by your side, you have to take good care of yourself. Aya, Yu Hua, I'm not a child, of course I know. Goodbye. After finished speaking, Yu Hua and Yi Zizi disappeared from the spot. A small workshop in the south of the city. A black figure was shuttling back and forth on the rooftop. This person was precisely Qi Shuwen. How could he not come? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:23. As the workshop got closer and closer, Qi Shuwen slowed down to small steps. Qi Shuwen turned around and peeked at the small workshop. With a single glance, his black mask almost fell to the ground. There were so many black-clothed men in such a small workshop. Were they all here to trade for the pure gold? There were too many of them. And that person on the roof. My God! Is this a black-clothed people gathering? Didn't that waiter say it was a secret report? Why did so many people know about the secret report? Wasn't this nonsense? Brother, are you here for the pure gold as well? While Qi Shuwen was still in shock, a voice suddenly rang out in his ears, causing him to almost fall off the roof. Get lost! After saying that, he changed to another roof. Long Outyen was puzzled. This guy is really hot-tempered. At this moment, Lord Jiao also ran over and laughed. Is this really a secret intelligence? Don't tell me they're having a black-clothed party. Yeah, why are there so many people in black? We were thinking of sneaking in and taking a look at the others. We should have just walked through the main gate, Long Outyen said. This was the first time he had seen something like this, and his jaw was about to drop to the ground. Look at those black-clothed men standing at the gate and chatting. Are you serious? This is simply like a masquerade ball. Right now, LV Liang and Deathmage were standing within the group of black-clothed men. LV Liang didn't want to say anything else. This information was really accurate, but there were too many people who obtained this information. There's even a black-clothed man setting up a stall next to it. What are you thinking? He was even doing business. Couldn't they just snatch things properly? Master Mage, There are too many people here, it's going to squeeze me to death. LV Liang mumbled. GGG, Imperial Translation. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. Seeing that Death Mage was squeezing his way in, LV Lu hurriedly followed after him. In any case, they had to squeeze their way in. However, within the crowd, a black-clothed man was squeezed to the side, and he was about to get angry. What's wrong with you? Don't you know there are a lot of people here? And they were squeezing as if their lives depended on it. This man in black was Everlasting Hatred, the sect master of the Broken Meridian sect, who had sneaked out. Because he had also received the information, he decided to come and take a look. Of course, he had to disguise himself and put on a night suit. He had thought that with his strength, he would definitely be able to snatch the pure gold, but he had never imagined that there would be so many black-robed men here. Even the nightwear was of the same style. It was definitely sold by the same merchant. Seeing some people squeezing into the small workshop, Lonesome Hatred also wanted to go in and see the situation. Since he was already here, he had to gain something. There were two short people in the crowd. Those two people were naturally Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. Facing such a scene, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not feel disappointed. On the contrary, they felt very interested. There were so many black-clothed people, and no one knew who was who. If they were to fight later, it would definitely be very crazy. I really made the right decision coming here this time. Kai Yun, what do you think? Yi Zizi said happily. That's right. I've never seen so many black-robed men before. Kai Yun was convinced as well. There were indeed a lot of people here. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. I feel like there are a lot of experts here. I feel it too. They were all lured here by the pure gold. Just what is this pure gold? Kai Yun asked curiously. Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Although I don't know what it is, with so many people here, it is definitely not an ordinary thing. If we are able to snatch it, that would be even better. This way it would also be good for his honor. That's right. But can the transaction still be carried out normally? No fool would make a transaction in front of so many people. It is very possible that they would be beaten up. Who knows, the person who made the transaction might be amongst the black-clothed people. Yi Zizi said faintly. It had to be said that right now, Yi Zizi had also started to use her brain. Looking at it from a certain angle, it was indeed possible. Everyone present were black-clothed people. If it was a premeditated plan, then they could completely use their identity as black-clothed people to make the transaction. This way, the risk would be reduced, and it would also not be discovered by others. Because everyone here were black-clothed people, who would know who was the one making the transaction. Very quickly, two petite figures walked into the small workshop. Uncle Wei, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Tang Wei had already realized that she was going to be a virgin for the rest of her life. In the future, even if Uncle Wei wants it, I will not give it to him. Wei Chong said gravely, seems like the secret report has been leaked, which resulted in so many people knowing about it. What should we do then? These black-clothed people actually started to set up stalls to sell things, my God. Tang Wei covered her eyes, unable to bear to look straight at the scene. Can we still properly snatch things? Can we at least make the atmosphere a bit more stifling? This matter is just like strolling in a market. Furthermore, it is a market where everyone is wearing the same uniform. It is not serious at all, and even feels that it is too sloppy. Xiao Tang, I feel that something is not right. Pay attention. Wei Chong said in a low voice as he hugged Tang Wei to his side, to prevent her from being taken advantage of by the surrounding men. Jiu Yi,